Someone make it make sense.
Probably a couple.
Hello, everybody. We are back for more of this crazy insanity with the Kassotis trial. For anyone who missed it, we have already had 2 installments. We are here with the 3rd installment, and there is a playlist as well. We're not watching the entire trial gavel to gavel. We're just hitting some of the high points here, although all of it's crazy, and taking a little bit of a break from the Koberger docs, although I know there's been a lot of developments there. And don't worry, we will return to those here very soon. I've got all of them, of course, and so I know that they're being covered like crazy anyway, so hopefully you guys will enjoy taking a little detour as we watch the rest of this chaos unfold with the craziest lies, perhaps, of any trial ever, and the multiple personalities / identities of this defendant. So where we left off last time, we were watching Nicholas Kassotis' 3rd wife testify. This is the one who's a true crime / what does she call it? Dark fiction writer. And when she met him, he said his name was Nicholas Stark. And I think he also sort of relayed to her that he's also a writer of dark fiction, quote unquote. And at this point where they had left off in the testimony, they weren't really like dating or what have you, but they were just kind of like talking, and it wasn't really like a thing yet. And he had expressed like wanting to come and visit her, but she felt like there were a lot of red flags basically at this point, but he kind of just trampled over those. Also, shout out to Iowa. Happy to see you, my friend. How are things in Iowa? And how's squeaky? So basically all the numerous red flags, and he just sort of, again, just trampled right over those. And so we're going to pick up here with her testimony. And after that, we will hear from the 1st wife. All right, let's go.
Did you ever use something called Signal app?
We did not use the Signal app to communicate.
Okay. Are you familiar with it?
I am. Mm-hmm.
Okay. But you didn't use that?
We didn't use it to communicate, no. And I didn't use it at that time, no.
Request.
What about Proton email?
Also, hi.
I knew he used Proton email because I think I saw it on some of the emails. I did not use Proton email. I had actually not, I didn't even know about Proton email until I saw it like in one of his emails, like the, I can't remember what you call that, the .com. Yeah.
Okay. But he didn't require you to use that with him?
No.
Okay. Can you tell the jury, in late November, when you and he had just started talking, did anything happen to your vehicle?
And for anyone who isn't familiar, Northwest watched this trial gavel to gavel, I think maybe at this point more than once, and is the resident expert on this case. I appreciate it. I know Northwest also follows the Adelsons, which, don't worry, we will be getting to that as we've been covering the previous trials as well. And I know that right now they're in jury selection for Donna's trial. So anyway, we will be getting to Adelsons. Don't worry. It looks like best case scenario, they might be starting opening statements on Friday, but nevertheless, we're going to finish with this one because it deserves to be watched. It deserves to be covered. And
Yes.
Tell the jury what happened.
Awesome, Mary.
A flat tire.
You're used to Adelsons.
Okay. And did that prove to be problematic in any way?
I mean, just as problematic as a flat tire, would be to anyone. I was, moving, and then it definitely was like a hassle, yeah.
Timing not so convenient.
Yeah, and I'm very bad with cars, so
okay.
Car trouble stresses me out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did Mr. Stark offer to assist in any way?
He did.
What did he do?
He offered, and keep in mind we had never met, and he offered like via messages, because we were talking on WhatsApp at that time. He offered to fix the flat. He had said that he could have my car towed to a repair shop and have the flat tire fixed.
And did he do that for you?
He did, and I was very surprised.
Okay.
Yes.
At that point, I believe your first communication was October 18th of 2022. Be fair to say that was approximately 2 to 4 weeks later?
Our first communication was September.
Now, here's the thing. I have every reason to think that he caused that flat tire. Again, this is very Murdochian, right, of him. Like, there's a lot of similarities here. But it's one of those things, right? Where it's like, if you cause the problem, then you can jump in and be the hero, quote unquote, to try to fix it. Anyway, we're going to hear how he kind of goes overboard with all this with her car.
2022. And I'm sorry, what was the second half of that?
How long had you known him before he had your tire fixed?
I mean, I wouldn't even say that I knew him at that time. I'd been messaging him online for, it would have been a month and a half.
No, it's like he was just trying to find a little way to weasel himself into her life. Again, like I said, in my view, he's using this whole tire thing to, again, trample past her red flags, bulldoze over her red flags, and basically not take no for an answer and come in and be like, here I am, and da-da-da. He didn't cause the flat. Interesting. Well, I believe you. He surely, though, does swoop in, doesn't he, though, after this, if I recall. I've seen, I think, all of this testimony, but again, I was watching it live, listening to it live while I was also working at the law firm. But I remember he made a whole to do about this tire thing, right? Saw an opportunity. Welcome on in, Bunny. Happy to see you, my friend.
2 months, somewhere in that range.
What did he have done for your car?
Okay, so he told me he was only going to fix the flat tire at the repair shop. When I got to the repair shop, my friend took me to pick up my car, I was very surprised because the clerk at the repair shop, he said that Nick had paid for 4 new tires and 2 new bulbs on the front headlights. I'm not 100% certain that's what it was called, but he did some kind of repair or something to the front headlights. I think it was new bulbs. Yeah.
Did you determine how much that cost?
It was a big bill. I mean, what I would consider big. It was like, I think it was $600 and something in that range. Yeah.
Was that concerning to you?
Yes.
What did you do as a result?
Yeah.
I felt a mix of feelings. I felt grateful as you do.
And that's the thing, right? It's like, okay, so he paid for this whole bill, and it's like, now she feels like I would imagine his goal would be that she feels like she owes him something, right? And let's see what she says.
He does something kind for you, but it also felt like a lot. And It already felt like a lot just to have somebody fix your my tire for me. And then the surprise of that it was 4 new tires and then like a bulb change or something. It was just a lot. It was a lot to the point that the clerk at the car shop, he said something like, "Is that your husband or is that your boyfriend?" And I said, "No." I said, "He's just an acquaintance, Yeah.
Wow.
Did you have a conversation with him about that? Boundaries?
I first talked to some friends about it just to get their opinion because it was such a big gift.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did talk to him and I said that was too much. That was a lot. You said it was going to be 1 tire, then you did 4. That's a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
And in response to that conversation, well, let me be clear. Do you remember when you had that problem with your tire?
It was November of 2022. I do not remember the exact date.
Okay. Was it beginning of November, end of November, if you recall?
I think it was the last half of November of 2022.
Okay. And after you had the conversation with him about boundaries and too much, what did he do?
He had this sort of like, he apologized, he kind of played it off, and he said this endearing thing kind of to where he's just like, "I'm so sorry, you're right. That was an odd gift. Most guys, I've just been he said something like, I've been out of practice for a while, and here I am like thinking that he's been, grieving for 2 years. And he's like, I've just been out of practice. I haven't dated. He's like, I just wanted to do something nice for you. He's like, but yeah, you're right. Tires. He's like, come on, like what guy gives a girl tires? He's like, it should have been flowers, right? Or something. And I said, yeah, flowers would have been more appropriate, than the 40 tires. And then it kind of became like it's like that conversation changed it from something that felt alarming at first to something that felt like, oh, okay, like you haven't been dating for a while. He went overboard, you know what I mean? He must like me and he went.
There it is. She had a huge red flag, and there it is. He just, you could say, weaseled his way, trampled his way, bulldozed his way right through that red flag. There you go.
A little overboard in showing that. And it then became a little bit of an
right? Yes.
Like an in-joke throughout our relationship. He'd be like, oh, the tires. Yeah. Like what kind of guy gives a girl he's dating tires? That was so stupid of me, like that kind of thing he used to say. Yeah.
Did he subsequently give you flowers the following week?
Yes. About a week later, he had a,
man, that's clever of him, isn't it though? He even follows it up the following week by giving her flowers. Just to it really does. that really does solidify it as like this inside joke thing, right? Like, oh, how funny, right? Like, I didn't even think about flowers. I got the tires, and then getting the flowers the following week. Wow.
A very nice bouquet of flowers, like hand delivered, like delivered to me, my house. Yeah.
Is that still in late November?
I believe so.
Wow.
If it wasn't late November, then it would have been probably the first week in December, but I think it was about a week after that, the tire repair. Yeah.
At some point, did you and Mr. Stark get engaged?
Yes.
Okay. Do you recall when that was?
It was April, or no, I'm sorry, we got engaged. The reason I said April, we got married in April. We got engaged in February of 2023.
Do you remember the date?
I don't.
Wow.
Okay.
I want to forget the day. I don't
February.
remember, sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
It was February.
Okay. So at some point in February of 2020.
Whoa, wait. The tire thing happened in like November of 2022, and they were already engaged in February of 2023. Am I understanding that correctly? He got her from at the end of November, all these red flags and whatnot, right? She's like, this is too much, and then in what, 1 full month, 2 full months, 2.5 months time, he got her from there to engaged. Oh my God. Let me just reiterate that. So she's still at the end of November, right? The end of November is also, by the way, when Mindy dies, right around Thanksgiving. End of November, the whole tire thing, right? And it's just too much, the red flags, end of November. And at some point in February, so December, January, and then let's just say halfway through February, right? Because at some point, 2.5 months gets her from all these red flags to engaged. That is impressive in the very worst way possible in terms of these master manipulators, right? Shout out to Super Planner Girl. Happy to see you. Bunny doesn't know anything about this one. Yeah, this one's insane. That's just an understatement. Yeah, very crazy. Very, very crazy. Yeah. Wow. Wow.
You get engaged. And then did you ultimately apply to get married?
Yes.
Can you tell us, prior to getting married, did you have to fill out paperwork for that?
Yes, he filled out the paperwork. And I think it was an online application.
Oh my God. Was it even legitimate?
And as a result, at the time, I'm going to show her 1.92.
Oh my God. Was it even legitimate?
Do you recognize that document?
Honestly, if it wasn't legitimate, that works out even better for her. But I'm wondering if this was even legitimate.
Yes.
What is that?
This is the marriage license application that was submitted for marriage.
Okay. And do you recognize that to be just a photocopy of the original?
Yes.
At this time, I would seek to introduce I believe is that 9.2?
Oh my God. It's not real. Is it not real?
Can we please publish that? Thank you. And does that reference your names at the top of that?
Yes.
And was it required to indicate how many marriages this was for you?
Yes.
And does it indicate how many it was for Mr. Stark?
Yes.
And what was that?
He wrote that it was his second.
Did he indicate how his last marriage ended?
Yes.
And how was that?
Death.
And did he give a date of her death?
December 1st, 2020.
Wow.
And this was issued when?
April 13th, 2023.
Wow.
Did it reference the names of his parents?
Yes, this is who he said were his biological parents. Edward Williams as his father, living in the UK, and Susan Fox living in California as his mother.
Did you understand that to be who he claimed were which parents, the adopted or the biological?
Biological parents that he had connected with and found out, later in life, as an adult. That's what I thought.
As in after he was quote unquote stolen at birth. Another dude.
Does this also reflect the date that it was initially filed?
Yes, April 10th, 2023.
And did both you and Mr. Stark have to sign that document?
Yes.
And did you?
Yes.
Those are both of your signatures?
Yes.
Okay. And that, of course, is your name also at the top. Correct?
Yes.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Now,
Snowman,
did you subsequently actually get married?
Yes.
Okay. And you said that was also sometime in April?
Y'all, for anyone who doesn't know this, the verdict took all of an hour and 17 minutes. It was either 14 or 17. I think it was 17. An hour and 17 minutes for this guilty verdict?
Yes, that was in April.
I think it might be a record.
2023, I believe, late April.
Honestly.
Okay.
For any
And
trial I've seen.
prior to getting married, did you and Mr. Stark discuss your living arrangements? What
Yes.
you're going to do after you got married?
Yes.
Okay. What was the plan?
He was going to move to PA and he wanted to buy a house. And then he said that we would both live in that house together. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And as a result of that, who was going to pay for the house?
Nick Stark.
The security team.
Did he indicate to you whether he was financially in a position to be able to afford the house without your assistance?
Yeah, that over time, but yes, yes, he said he was able to do that.
Okay, so he was going to be the one buying it.
Correct.
Okay. Was he responsible then for the arrangements for the finances?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can you tell the jury, did you in fact start looking for houses together?
Yes,
Did you find it?
we did. At first, we were looking at houses for him because he said he was going to move to PA.
Oh my God.
And so it was just a house for him. And then as our relationship progressed,
Oh, right. I'm remembering thinking something earlier on in her testimony. For those of you guys who were here, you might remember it. I remember her, the way she explained this at the beginning of her testimony, it sounded like they never actually lived together, but I'm sure we're about to get more clarification on that.
we started looking together, and we did. We found several that we liked, and then we landed on one, so to speak, or just chose one.
Okay. Yeah. Did that ultimately result in an offer, acceptance, and a closing?
It resulted in an offer. He made an offer. I believe the offer was accepted.
Mhm.
And if I'm thinking about this because I'm not like real estate, I've never bought a house before. I think he had put like a deposit or whatever, earnest money, whatever it's called in real estate. Yeah.
Okay. And was there an actual closing date scheduled?
Yes.
Okay. So do you know when that was?
Yes.
When was that?
March 20th, 2023.
And why do you remember that date specifically?
It was a traumatic day.
What happened?
We were supposed to close that day. And in the morning, I was still in bed. We were staying together at an Airbnb in Pennsylvania. I was still in bed, and he woke me up, and he said he looked like he'd already been up for a bit, totally dressed, and he said that he was going to go run some errands and pick up the check for the closing, the cashier's check, and that he would be back before closing.
Oh, dear.
Do you remember when the closing was supposed
Oh my
to
God, what happened?
I think it was around noon, but I'm not positive. I don't remember the exact hour.
be? Okay.
Yeah.
So sometime during the day?
Yep, sometime during the day.
Okay.
Yes.
And he left to go get the check.
Yes.
Was he supposed to come back to the house?
Yes, he was.
Oh, dear.
Before closing. Yeah.
Did he have a car at that time?
Yes.
Do you know what type of car it was?
I believe it was, I could definitely recognize it if I saw it. I believe it was a Ford. It was kind of like an SUV, a larger SUV. I want to say it was a Ford Explorer.
Okay.
And I believe it was green.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
at that point, he left to go pick up the check
Yes.
and was supposed to come home.
Yes.
Did he come home in timely fashion?
No.
why does that not surprise me?
He wasn't. He wasn't home when I thought, he probably should have been. Like it was getting closer and closer to the closing time. And so I started texting him like on WhatsApp, like, hey, are you okay? Is everything okay? Because it felt unusual. And then I started calling him and I wasn't getting through to him. It was either going like right to voicemail or just like clicking off. The connection was clicking off. And then I got a very alarming text message from him.
Oh, boy.
And it said, or WhatsApp message, same thing. It said, my car buddy, because I think autocorrect, I just remember this text. It said, my car buddy into flames. And of course, like reading that message, I'm like, buddy burst, like the autocorrect. And I was just, that's such a strange message to ever receive. But so then I'm like calling him frantically and I didn't get through to him. I might have gotten through to him for a second and then he like handed the phone off, but then I talked to a paramedic or an EMT, some kind of like medical professional.
Okay.
I was at the scene with him.
Yes, correct.
Okay. At that point, you said that he had been on his way to the bank. Is that right?
He said he had to run like some errands and also pick up the cashier's check, register check from the bank, from Citizens Bank. Yeah.
Did you know how much the check was for?
I do not remember the exact amount, but I can tell you it was something like, it was a large amount. It was $800,000, I want to say, or 850. It was a very large amount of money. Yeah. Yeah.
So is your understanding that he was picking up the check and that he had been involved in a car fire of some sort?
Car accident is what I was thinking at that time.
Car accident. Okay.
Because even reading I was like, I couldn't really fathom what had actually happened,
Right.
But yeah, some kind of car incident.
Did you know if the car was new?
I think it was pretty new. I don't think it was an old car.
Okay.
Yeah.
And at that point, did he go to the hospital?
So that's something I asked that.
So trying to think of how to give the cliff notes on this case. The defendant was a JAG, JAG officer, has, passed the bar, has a law degree, military. I don't even know. It's so, the thumbnail, guys, is on purpose because literally of all the cases, and they're all crazy in different ways, this one just is like hold my beer, but like times a bazillion. I don't even know how to explain it. It just literally, like, that's why, like in the thumbnail, it's like just when you thought you've seen it all, like this guy comes along. Like, I don't even know. Military lawyer, right? That's the defendant. He killed and dismembered his wife, but the crazy lies are the thing of this whole thing, right? Attempted to fake his own death. I don't even, it's just, now having said that, we haven't yet gotten to him taking the stand. And when that happens, anyone who's doesn't know anything about this case, when he takes a stand, all of that will get addressed, right? Because they're going to go through the entire thing. So even if you don't know anything about this case, when we get to him taking the stand, which will be shortly here, you'll get start to finish everything about him, and you'll get the entire thing from his point of view. But yeah, so it's amazingly crazy. Yes, pathological liar, absolute master manipulator, con artist. Also, notably, his defense attorney is Doug Weinstein, who was one of the defense attorneys in the YSL, or aka the Young Thug RICO trial. So he's got a great defense attorney. It's insanity. Yeah. I think also noteworthy, just to reiterate, the jury came back with the guilty verdict in 1 hour and 17 minutes, and it is the fastest verdict that I can recall in any trial I've ever seen. I've tried to think of any ones that were quicker. I know there's been, I think maybe Charlie Adelson was maybe under 2 hours. Murdoch was like just over 2 hours. I don't think I can recall any trial that I've seen that came back with a guilty verdict. And what was it? How many counts was it, Northwest? There's a lot of counts. It wasn't just murder. Came back in 1 hour and 17 minutes. It's got to be the fastest I've ever seen for guilty or not guilty. Fastest verdict I've ever seen. 12 counts. Yep, Alex Murdoch is mentioned. Yep. 12 counts. Yep, that's right. Judge Advocate General. Yep. 12 counts, guilty in 1 hour and 17 minutes. That should tell you something.
The EMT or the paramedic, and I said, is he going to the hospital? Like what hospital can I meet him at? Those kinds of things. And she said, he doesn't want to go to the hospital. And I said, but are you should he? Is he okay? I was asking those kind of caring, concern questions. And I still didn't really grasp. I didn't grasp.
On hand right now is the defendant's third wife.
Happened to the car, or how severe it was, because I remember asking the paramedic or the EMT, I said, can you make sure he gets all of his things out of the car? And she kind of, I don't want to say chuckled, it wasn't like she was amused, but she was just like, I can try, but I don't think there's anything left.
I guarantee you we're about to see pictures of this car.
In that car. And hearing that, I didn't,
oh my God,
I still was a little bit confused.
Yeah.
I didn't understand the scope. And then, I asked, are you sure he's okay to not go to the hospital? And she said, well, he doesn't want to go. We can't, he just wants to go back to you or whatever, or home,
When he got home, did you take him to the hospital?
Yes, I insisted on taking him to the hospital. I was concerned about him.
Why?
Well, when he walked through the door of the Airbnb, he was crying a little.
When you guys see this vehicle, I don't think there's any possible way a human could survive this. So the fact that he just walks in the door for her to take him to the hospital blows my mind. If he really wanted to sell this, he would have needed to set himself on fire to a certain extent. This is insane.
Shaking. He had some, he looked a little burned, on his face. He was missing, I want to say half an eyebrow.
You see this
he had, yeah.
Okay. As a result, I'm going to show you 1.9.
Here it goes. Here we go, guys. Y'all ready for this?
Do you recognize what's depicted?
Okay, that's the defendant.
In this photograph.
you guys ready?
Like the bracelets they put on you out to the hospital.
Okay.
Oh, it's
The admission date on it right there.
Yes, March 20th, 2023. Yeah.
Thank you. At that point, do you know what happened with respect to the car? In terms of the insurance, how did that go?
I still don't. Oh, you mean like the insurance? I don't know. I still don't know what happened really. We went to the hospital and then I had asked him, did you call insurance? And he said no. And I'm thinking he's in shock. And so I, encouraged him to do so. I said, well, you should report that, to your insurance company that you had an accident or a fire or whatever it was. And so I believe he did that. Yes.
Okay. But initially it was your impression that he had not.
Correct. He was acting, I thought he was in shock because he wasn't doing the things that I had always been told to do if you have a car accident.
Wow.
And that was strange for him because he was usually such a intelligent, put together person. It just seemed,
Oh my God.
just seemed odd. Like photos. I had asked him a day or two after the fire. I said, did you take any photos of your car? The damage.
Show us
And he
the
said
picture.
no. And he said, do you think I should?
Oh my
And I
God.
said, I remember specifically saying this to him. I said, Nick, you're a lawyer. I said, what would you advise a client to do? And he said, oh yeah, I guess you're right. You're
Oh
right.
my God.
I'll go take photos. And so then he went and took photos, and it was the photos that he showed me that I finally realized the extent of the damage to this
Oh my
car.
God.
And I was
Come on.
horrified.
Did you see the photographs yourself?
Yes.
No.
How bad was the car?
As bad as you could possibly imagine. There was nothing, it was just a frame, it looked like, of the car left, like a metal frame.
There was nothing left of the car.
Yes. And then it made sense with the paramedic, her reaction, when I had asked to get his things out of the car.
After the incident with the car, did you follow through? Because that happened, you said March 20th of 23.
Yes.
Did you follow through with your plans to get married?
Yes.
Okay. And that's when we showed you the marriage license. Is that correct? Or the application?
Yep. Yes.
Okay. Did you know a woman by the name of Heather Thomas? Have you ever mentioned a
No.
woman by that name?
He mentioned he had a girlfriend named Heather. He said it was just a girlfriend. He said she had wanted to marry him and he did not want to, and they broke up, and that it was a messy breakup. That's what he had said.
Never told you that was his wife.
No,
Never told you that he had divorced her.
no,
Did you know if he owed her any money?
no. He told me he was debt free. He told me he owed nobody nothing.
He said he didn't know anything.
That's correct. He said he was completely debt free.
During your relationship with him, did you discuss having children, the two of you?
Yes,
Did that seem important to him?
very much so. Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to find
And
picture.
at that point, did you make any arrangements to try and get pregnant?
Yes, around the time we got married. Yep.
Can you tell the jury what you did?
I went to a preconception appointment at my with a certified midwife at my OB office. Yeah.
Okay. So that was right around what point in time?
Right around the date of our marriage. Yep.
Okay. So that was right away.
Yes, that's correct.
Now, you've testified that you had no idea that Mr. Kassotis had a first wife, no less a second wife, correct?
That's correct.
And
That he didn't have. I testified that he didn't have. What do you mean by that?
let me clarify that. It was your testimony that you didn't know that his wife was alive. when he
Oh
first met
no,
you.
yeah, no, I did not know that.
And at this point, you didn't know either that there was potentially a first wife named Heather Thomas.
Right, that's what I thought you were. Yeah,
Okay.
I didn't know he had a wife before.
Okay. Can you tell us how you came to learn of those things?
I came to learn of those things through agent over the course of several conversations with Agent Tracy Sands of the Georgia Bureau of Investigation after Nick was arrested.
Do you see Agent Sands here today?
I do.
Can you point him out for us?
He's right there next to you. Yep, in the middle. Yeah.
The record can so reflect on it. And can you tell us, how did it make you feel learning that he had not only the first wife who had passed, but the second wife from before her?
I don't think words will ever capture how I felt, but I felt if I had to choose some words, I'd say horrified, shocked, traumatized, violated, deceived.
What did you do?
In the days that followed his arrest, I contacted Agent Sands multiple times. Tried to, after learning that, I tried to be as helpful as I could be because I was horrified. And so in the days that followed, I took pictures of all the belongings that he had in the Airbnb and sent the photos to Agent Sands and asked if they needed anything of his belongings. And they requested some of those, and I had them shipped to the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. And then I also, like his laptops, his phones, and when I say laptops and phones, because I have one for work, one for personal. And then I also started looking messages, emails, anything that I thought the Georgia Bureau of Investigation might want to see.
Oh, this is just absolutely fucking just horrifying. I wanted to show you guys, for anyone who hasn't seen this entire thing or seen the opening statements, because they did, previously in this trial, they've shown pictures of the vehicle. I thought they were going to show it again with her, but apparently not. But I wanted to just show you guys, I've got a couple pictures here. So let's see, here's one. Give me just a second here. So if y'all can see on the right there, there's a picture there of the vehicle after the fire. And then there's another one. Where'd it go? Oh yeah, here we go. This one. There's the interior of the vehicle. And then I guess this is the exterior. So yeah, that's, again, for a human to come out of that alive with like a little bit of a burn on the eyebrow or whatever she said is just insane. Yeah. So there you go. Thank you for letting everyone know. Northwest filling everyone in. Wife 3, which is this witness, is a horror author. Thank you, Northwest. Welcome, Kane.
It was just, I was still in shock, but I knew that I wanted to be helpful because what I was hearing was so horrifying and I had no idea. And so I was trying to be as helpful in those immediate days as I could be.
What did you do about your marriage?
Oh, God.
I wanted it annulled because I felt like the marriage and everything in the marriage was not consensual because of his fraud, and I wanted it annulled.
Yeah, I would say so.
And annulment in Pennsylvania is very difficult. It's very, very rigid about the requirements to get an annulment. It has to be fraud, or like some very specific other things. So it was very hard to get a lawyer who would actually even pursue it. But I did get one, and we went to we filed for an annulment and a divorce at the same time in case the annulment wouldn't go through. There are not a lot of annulments in Pennsylvania, to my understanding. And then I had to wait several months before we could go to a hearing. And we went to a hearing at a court of common pleas in Pennsylvania.
Wow.
And
did you get an annulment?
And the judge in Pennsylvania granted my annulment on the basis of his fraud. And so that was that's very rare in Pennsylvania that they do that. So the marriage was declared null and void because he committed fraud against me.
Do you know whatever happened to the house that you were supposed to buy?
I have no idea.
Did you ever buy it?
No.
Did you ever move into a house that he purchased?
No.
Did you ever see that check that was supposed to be picked up?
No, he said the check burned in the cashier. the cashier's check.
Oh, so it seems like he staged this entire fucking car fire just to get out of being found out that he didn't have money for the house. It seems like, it's just one lie to cover up the next. So again, very Murdochian. And again, Murdoch is also referenced in this trial twice, but there's a lot of overlap as well. And this is about the end of her testimony almost here.
Mr. Weinstein, cross-examination.
Are you going to cross her?
Good morning, Ms. Kolesnik.
Oh my God.
I'm Doug Weinstein. I represent Nick Kassotis. I just have a question for you about the down payment on the home. Do you recall Nick Kassotis putting a $50,000 down payment on that home?
Oh, for fuck's sake, who cares? I'm sorry. I'm not saying that to him. He's doing his job. Bless his heart. He's doing his job. It's sad. Good God, of all the cases, if you're a defense attorney, of all of the cases with all the bad facts, it takes a certain individual to be able to find anything with this one. Really, like props to Doug Weinstein, honestly.
He said he did, yes.
Okay, I have no further questions.
Anything else?
Nothing.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. You're excused.
with that, we have a very short testimony here from wife number one, and then we are on to, drum roll please, the defendant himself taking the stand. So we're going to move right along to this quick testimony here, but important, but it's short, from wife number one. And then we are on to the guy himself. I don't even know what to call him. It's just, he's a different, just again, breaks the mold. Literally, it just, when you thought you'd seen it all, you haven't. That's the thing.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Please raise your right hand and take the oath.
Wife number one, people.
Please have a seat.
And also welcome twins.
Would you state your name, please?
Heather Thomas,
Where do you live?
Alexandria, Virginia.
Did you travel here from Alexandria, Virginia to testify for this trial?
Yes, I did.
How are you employed?
I work for the federal government at the Department of Commerce.
Oh, interesting.
What are your duties there?
I'm a government contracting official.
Are you married?
Yes, I am.
When did you get married?
In October of 2015.
Do you have any children?
Yes, I have one daughter.
How old is she?
She's 8.
Is your husband employed?
Yes,
Where is he employed?
the Department of Defense.
From where you're seated, can you see the defendant, Nicholas Kassotis, in this case?
Yes,
Do you know that person?
yes.
How do you know him?
Oh
I
my
was
God.
married to him.
From
I'm
when
so
to when?
sorry for you.
2009 to 2013
How did you meet?
on eHarmony.
And how long after meeting him was it that you became married?
Very quickly after.
Mhm.
Was he in the military?
Yes,
What branch?
the Navy.
What was his job in the Navy?
He was a JAG officer.
At some point while he was in the Navy, was he deployed to Italy?
Yes,
From when to when?
2011 to 2013.
And what was his job when he was in Italy?
Man, oh
He
man.
worked as a prosecutor.
While you guys were in Italy, did he acquire a dog?
We acquired a dog,
And what was the dog's name?
Rusty.
Oh, Rusty. Oh,
Yes,
Let's get a picture of
that's my dog, Rusty.
oh, Rusty.
the way Rusty appeared.
Yes.
Oh my God, I'm going to start crying because I know that Rusty has passed away. I'm going to lose it, guys.
You're getting emotional.
Oh.
Why is that?
I was lucky enough to spend the last 2 years of his life with him,
Oh,
Living at your place.
living at our house. Yes.
of all the tragedies, Rusty. I can't with that. God.
During the time of your marriage to the defendant, did he ever work out of the Pentagon?
Yes.
Do you know what his job there was?
It was I only knew it was code 13.
Do you know what that means?
I have no idea.
Also, during the time that you were married, did he have occasion to attend Georgetown University?
Yes,
Where's that located?
in Washington, D.C.
And do you know what his area of study was?
I believe it was international.
Bullshitness.
In the beginning of your relationship, can you describe for the jury
Thank you,
um,
Wes.
your relationship to him?
Yes, it was pretty much what I thought was a normal relationship.
Interesting.
Very smooth sailing, never fought, kind of like best friends in a way.
Did he ever indicate to you whether he wanted children?
Yes, he did. We both did.
Do you have a medical condition that makes that unlikely?
Yes, I have polycystic ovarian syndrome, PCOS.
Well, let's just put all her shit on blast, why don't we?
Notwithstanding that medical condition, were you able to get pregnant while married with him?
Yes,
And what happened to that pregnancy?
it was lost.
I'm sorry.
How did your relationship change over time?
It felt like we were more roommates instead of married.
Oh man.
Whose idea was it to get a divorce?
I believe it was mutual, but more so myself.
And there was a proceeding that was filed in the Circuit Court of Fairfax County, Virginia concerning this matter.
Yes,
Fairfax.
And if you had an opportunity to view States Exhibit 2.45A, 45B, 45C, 45D, and 45E prior to coming in here today,
yes, I have.
and you recognize these as documents pertaining to your divorce,
Yes,
I'll tender each of these exhibits, Your Honor. They're certified copies of those documents that I've shown to you.
Good job, Quiz, drinking water like a good human.
All right, then, NBC, D,
You're all drinking more water.
they're all admitted without objection.
Following Quiz's footsteps.
After the action for divorce was filed, did you become separated?
yes,
Did you move out?
yes, I did.
Where did you move to?
I lived nearby in Alexandria.
During the period of separation, were there discussions about infidelity?
Of course,
And who
Oh,
raised those?
Nick did.
Did you cheat on him during the course of your marriage?
No,
How quickly was the divorce granted after the petition was filed?
it was granted in October of 2015.
Now, the court documents show Nicholas James Kassotis as the plaintiff in this divorce, and you're referred to as the defendant.
Yes,
Why is that?
we both didn't have a need for an attorney. He was an attorney and he said he could take care of it.
oh boy. Oh boy.
Can you see from where you're seated, a photograph states
Right.
exhibit number 2.32? Can you see?
Are you joking me?
Yes,
Do you recognize the person in this photograph?
yes,
Who is this person?
it's Mindy.
How did you know Mindy?
I knew him as, I knew her as his wife, his new wife.
Do you recall when you first met her?
It was by happenstance in a public setting. She had no idea who I was.
When he would refer to her, how would he refer to her?
Can you clarify
By
that question?
initials?
Yes,
And the grounds for the divorce were what?
irreconcilable differences.
What were his obligations under the divorce?
He was required to pay off the personal loan or refinance it if he couldn't pay it off in his own name. He was required to refinance or pay off the truck that he was driving. And he was required to either refinance or sell the property on Adrian Drive.
So
And
in
at some
other
point, was he
words,
ordered
he didn't do the best job as his own defense attorney, or sorry, divorce attorney. Sounds like.
to pay you $1.5 million?
Yeah, maybe.
Yes,
Did he?
no,
How long after your divorce was it before he and Mindy got married, roughly?
about a year, almost to the day.
And after your divorce from him, did you continue to correspond with him?
Yes, of course. We were very friendly. It was a very amicable divorce.
And how would you communicate with him after the divorce?
Text. He came to visit with the dogs. We had 2 dogs at the time, Stitch and Rusty. Email. Just whatever was convenient.
Do you know how he was employed during the time he was married to Mindy?
I was told from him that he worked for the Department of the Navy.
For how long?
I don't know.
Did he ever express interest in starting a cybersecurity business?
He mentioned cybersecurity as an area that he was interested in, yes.
Between 2015 and 2019, did the defendant cooperate with the divorce obligations?
No,
Did that cause any kind of hardship to you?
of course.
Like what?
It put me through a lot of emotional stress, but importantly, it put me through a lot of scrutiny for my own employment. I was, and still do hold a security clearance that required your credit to be good and all of your bills paid, all of that stuff. And by him not doing that for many, many months, I was in a situation where a piece of paper to submit to the Office of Personnel Management wasn't going to cut it. They wanted to see full extent of the law to pursue the resolution of that because my employment was at stake.
Too fast.
Referring your attention to Exhibit 2.45B, dated 11/28/18, entitled Consent Order. He was ordered to pay you the $1.5 million plus $90,000 in interest in that consent order. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And $10,000 in attorney fees.
That's correct.
And then the case was continued almost exactly 30 days to December 28th,
This guy.
2018. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And was there a hearing on December 28th, 2018?
Yes.
And Exhibit 2.45C shows the court found him not in compliance with the November 28th.
Basically, again, she's not on the stand for very long. What the state, it seems, is trying to establish here is, again, as we well know, they don't have to prove motive, but that essentially, from what it seems like, the theory here is that, this whole con artist spree happened essentially trying to escape this obligation to pay back, to pay the $1.5 million from the divorce, right? And so, that sort of started this whole chain event, like chain reaction, which is an understatement.
2018 consent order and ordered Nicholas Kassotis to appear before the court on January 4th, 2019 to show cause why he should not be held in contempt.
That's right.
Did you go to that January 4th hearing?
Yes, I did.
What happened at that hearing?
The judge was very upset after he heard Nick testify under oath that
Oh, boy.
he not only had the money, he had more than enough of the money, and that he just was refusing to pay it. So the judge was not very kind.
He admitted having how much money?
$32 million.
He said, yeah. Sorry. Wait. Just when you think he said he had $32 million. Oh, that's fucking hilarious, isn't it? That's fucking hilarious. I mean, it's hard to top all the other lies, honestly. Stolen at birth was another really good one, but the $32 million is fucking hilarious too.
Did he tell the court he was having difficulty accessing that money?
Yes.
What did he tell the court?
He told the court that his wife, his current wife, Mindy, was holding his funds and that
Oh
he
my God.
thought that she had a claim to it because it was earned during his marriage with her. And that he was pursuing other actions with her. But the judge was like, well, I can't bring her into court, but you're here. So you need to put a move on it. And I want this done. I want to see movement in a week. Otherwise your liberty is at stake.
Now, before that hearing, was there another similar hearing that occurred?
Yes.
What happened at that similar hearing?
There was a case right before ours where very similar circumstances, though not to the degree or the amount owed by any means, was playing out, and we were both in the courtroom. And that ended where the spouse that owed the money left in handcuffs. And so Nick asked to meet with my attorney and I in the mediation room after we continued. And that's when the additional $90,000 and the $10,000 came from.
So was Nick in the courtroom to witness that incident where the man was taken out in
Yes.
handcuffs?
Okay.
Did he ever?
So it wasn't just in an effort to avoid having to pay the divorce money. It was because he saw what can happen when you're held in contempt of court and he saw somebody get taken away in handcuffs. Okay. He was avoiding being put in jail and paying the money.
Comply with that court order for $1.5 million interest and the attorney fees?
No.
I'm showing you now what's marked as 2.45E. Do you know what that is?
Yes.
Go ahead.
It's a bench warrant. The failure to appear.
Bench warrant. Holy shit. Okay.
And it's dated when?
December 23rd, 2020.
All right. So there you go. There was an outstanding warrant for his arrest. To me, that explains way more than just trying to escape paying the money, because this explains it all. This explains it all. I'm telling you, because I deal with this on a daily basis, people that have these warrants out for their arrest. And, when they're smart, they don't do what he did. And instead they call a defense attorney. But there was a bench warrant out for his arrest. And that I'm sure was never resolved until his subsequent arrest for, murder. After all this other bullshit in between. Holy shit. Yup. Bench warrant. Yup.
Have you ever threatened him with violence?
No,
Are you familiar with him changing his last name?
I did not find that out until after he was arrested.
And did he ever explain to you why he changed the name?
I'm sure she couldn't talk to him.
Are you familiar with the last name of Stark?
It made me think of the Game of Thrones character, frankly.
And who was that character?
It was one of the main characters. That was public.
That's what I thought.
Did you and the defendant watch the Game of Thrones during the time you were married?
Yes.
Oh my God, of course, though. Oh my God.
At some point, did you become familiar with the GBI sketch?
Yes.
Tell the jury
Oh
about
my
that. How
God.
did you become familiar with it?
Well, I received a random text message asking if I was ever married to Nick. And of course, I was hesitant to respond to a stranger, but nonetheless, the curiosity got the best of me. And so she told me about.
Based on what she told you, what you did?
Based on what she told me, I've looked it up and I saw similarity as far as the sketch was concerned. And I called the GBI to let them know that that looks remarkably like Mindy because of the jawline.
Did you tell the GBI who you were?
No, I did not.
I believe your testimony was you remarried shortly after the divorce.
Yes, I did.
Was there a time that the defendant saw you after your divorce when you were pregnant?
Yes,
Were you obviously pregnant?
yes.
And describe to the jury what happened on that occasion when the defendant saw you pregnant.
Nick was very uncomfortable when he saw me. He did utter the congratulations, but the body language wasn't matching. Later on after that meeting, which was actually the last time that I saw my other dog Stitch, my husband made very similar comments saying that it was very awkward and that he could tell that they were very well.
That's all the questions I have.
Pain with his cheek. So it looks like we got a short cross.
Good afternoon, Ms. Thomas. I'm Doug Weinstein. I'm representing Nick Kassotis in this case.
Get it done.
I have a few questions for you. Your divorce from Nick Kassotis was final on October 15th, 2015, correct?
That's correct.
When did you get married to your husband, to Anthony Thomas?
October 16th.
The very next day?
Yes.
Nick raised the issue of infidelity with you, correct? He
Oh,
accused you of infidelity.
not mad at him again.
And do you still maintain that you did not commit infidelity?
Correct. I met my husband well after we had already separated. I had not started dating my husband until July. And while that does seem fast, it is possible to find the love of your life.
You say that Nick failed to follow the obligations in your initial divorce decree, correct?
Correct.
And that he was supposed to pay off some type of loan, either refinance it, but pay it off so you're off the loan, correct?
Correct. Yeah. Just remove my name. However you wanted to do that.
He was supposed to pay off the truck, and he was supposed to refinance or sell the marital home that y'all had.
That's right. Mhm.
And he did not do those things, correct?
That's right.
And you pursued him to do those things.
Absolutely.
And following that, there was a consent order, correct?
That's right.
And that consent order was from, November 28th, 2018. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. And in that consent order, can you tell me this? How did you reach the consent order? How did you reach the numbers in the consent order? How did you come up with the figures? How did you guys come up with the figures? in
We
the
came up
consent
with the figures. We had an addendum made that we mutually agreed to. And we had memorized and we had added. So it was then part of the divorce decree.
And when you say we, that's you and Nick and I guess whatever attorneys were involved. Is that correct?
He never had an attorney, but yes, I had an attorney.
Okay. And so that $1.5 million that he had agreed to pay you, he agreed to that. He agreed to the $1.5 million in the course of the negotiation, correct?
Correct.
And had you seen any evidence that Nick had $1.5 million?
No.
Have you seen, or at the time, or at any time, did you see any evidence that Nick Kassotis had the $32 million that he said he had?
When he testified under oath.
I understand that. Did you see any documentation of the $32 million?
No.
Bank statements
Oh, yes.
that showed $32 million?
They were great, but yes.
And
Lord.
when you followed up on that, do you remember the bank?
Bank of America?
Okay. Did you do anything with Bank of America to see if there was $32 million in there?
I tried filing the judgment in every single banking institution in the Virginia area, sir.
Were you
Oh,
successful at getting the $1.5 million from any of those banks?
No.
What did they say about the $32 million when you presented Bank of America with those statements?
They've never heard of them.
You say that both you and your husband thought that Nick Kassotis was uncomfortable when he saw that you were pregnant. Does it surprise you that an ex-husband is uncomfortable when he sees his ex-wife pregnant?
It depends. If you have a good relationship before then, and you already knew about it, and seeing it probably wouldn't have made a big difference.
Well,
The
come on.
GBI interviewed you prior to today, correct?
That's right.
Do you recall telling the GBI that Heather was living with you guys?
I'm Heather.
I'm sorry, I apologize, Mindy.
Yes, and I corrected them immediately because that's not true.
Okay, I have no further questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anything else, Council? Yes, thank you, Mr.
All right, guys, the time has come. Are y'all ready for this defendant to take the stand? Let's go. It is time. It is time. It is time. Y'all ready?
All right, the state has now rested its case. Mr. Weinstein, you may proceed for the defense.
Thank you, Your Honor. The defense calls Nicholas Kassotis to the stand.
I would not want to be his defense attorney, well, at any point during this trial, but especially not now.
Please raise your right hand and take the oath.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Sorry, this is hilarious. Just the fact that this question's like, why are you even bothering to ask him this question for real?
So I hope you got it.
I do.
Like, they're like, no. Never has anyone lied so much ever.
Mr. Kassotis, would you please state your name and spell it?
Nicholas James Kassotis, Nicholas, and my last name is Kassotis. Though at this time that is not my legal name.
Would you please tell the jury your legal name?
Nicholas Killian James Stark,
Ah.
Stark.
And will you spell that? Then Killian James and Stark.
Oh, Killian is Killian,
Named himself after a Game of Thrones character.
and James is James.
How Ezra McCandless of him.
Where were you born?
born in Peterborough, New Hampshire.
Where did you grow up?
Fitzwilliam, New Hampshire. It is a very small town directly on the Massachusetts border. Small, rural New Hampshire. You talk about one stoplight towns, and we don't even have a full stoplight. It's one of those flashing lights.
Shut up.
Well, tell us about the region you grew up in. What was it like?
It's a rural area. It's heavily forested. I grew up on a dirt road, kind of in the middle of the woods. We have kind of regional high schools because all the surrounding towns are too small, so we have to put enough people together to fill a school.
What kind of recreational activities took place in that neck of the woods?
A lot of hunting, normal outdoor things, hiking, swimming. We lived about a mile from a lake.
What activities did you participate in?
I ran, I hiked. I loved being outdoors. I still love being outdoors. So a lot of kind of exploring, as some members of my family will say, sometimes getting a little too close to wildlife for my own safety. But
please tell the jury about your education.
After high school, I went to Boston University for college. I got my bachelor's there in 2004, and then I went to the Northeastern University School of Law, also in Boston. I got my JD, which is your basic law degree.
Following your JD, what career did you pursue?
I passed the Massachusetts bar that year and joined the United States Navy as a judge advocate.
Okay. Please tell the jury about your time in the Navy.
Yeah, I went on active duty starting in early 2008.
I'll just say, like, if you're his defense attorney, you're going to spend as long as human fuckingly possible, that's even a phrase, talking about his time in the JAG or in the Navy. I mean, because it's like anything to procrastinate getting to everything after that, that's your goal. Like, can we just stay here forever talking about JAG and the Navy and whatever bullshit? Because I mean, yeah.
After completing some training, we have what's called Officer Development School and then Naval Justice School, and then I reported to my first duty station in Norfolk, Virginia, where I was a defense attorney and a legal assistance attorney. While I was there, I also ran a couple of our smaller offices, and I deployed twice. I deployed once on short notice on the USNS Comfort. I was we would say the staff judge advocate, kind of just like an in-house lawyer for the mission commander. It was a humanitarian mission to Central America, South America, and the Caribbean on a ship for 4 or 5 months. I also deployed to Iraq, where I was stationed in Baghdad at a base called Camp Cropper, and I was doing issues related to detainees. The military captures a lot of people, and they have legal cases in Iraqi courts. They have legal rights and obligations that we have to give them. They're being interviewed by various things, and there was a lot of various legal issues that we had that I worked on.
What about your career following Iraq?
After I finished up in Norfolk, I was there on and off for 3 years with the deployments. I transferred to Region Legal Service Office.
Sorry, hold on. Did he say Norfolk? Really, though? Oh, my God.
EURAFSO, as we call it, Europe, Africa, and Southwest Asia. I was stationed in Sigonella, Sicily, at Naval Air Station Sigonella. There I was a prosecutor, and I was again, kind of a legal advisor to the commands on base, to the base commander, things of that nature.
Tell us about your time as a prosecutor.
It handled court martials in the military, also some administrative boards, folks getting kind of thrown out, a lot of sexual assaults, unfortunately. That is the most common crime I think we see at the court martial level in the military, but some drug use cases, thefts, things of that nature.
You mentioned sexual assaults, drug use cases. Any other types of crimes that you prosecuted that you can recall right now?
Not that I can recall.
Were you also a defense attorney?
I was a defense attorney in Norfolk.
What types of crimes were you defending?
What Northwest, has that been verified? And I'm asking Northwest because Northwest has watched this entire trial gavel. Has that been verified? That he was a defense attorney? But of all places, it had to be Norfolk, right? Yeah, also Heather, right. Yikes, things of that nature. Yeah.
Defending against there.
Also, mainly sexual assault. Sometimes I had a kind of an odd case that was somebody had refused, or hadn't refused. I would argue they hadn't refused, but had not taken a required urinalysis drug test, and that wound up at a court martial. Some hazing cases, kind of some interesting drug use, things of that nature. I think one assault.
Did you eventually end up in the Pentagon?
I did. After Italy, I was
sounds to me like not many cases because he keeps describing the same 3 things over and over again, basically.
Stationed at the Pentagon for a couple of years. When I first got there, I was an administrative law attorney. So anytime the military is trying to promote somebody, not promote somebody, fire somebody, It requires legal review, and it would wind its way through our office on its way to the 3-star admiral who was kind of the head of our community.
Yeah, Northwest. The thing is that in my mind, I'm like, it just seems like he should have at least some modicum amount of more sense than he has, had he ever worked as like, that's why I'm like, of all things, right? It's like he did all the things wrong, like, I guess we see this oftentimes, right? Murdoch did the same thing. They bring you in for an interview, blah, blah, blah away without an attorney, like just all the things, pro se during your divorce. Oh, then there's all the murdering and all the fraud and all the rest of it. But in terms of just like, it's like you would, I guess you can't say he would ever do anything with any type of sense is really what it is. So, yeah.
And after that, I stayed. I moved to the office right next to our, what was then called our International and Operational Law Division, now called the National Security Law Division. I was the Chief of International Affairs, I believe was my job title, and I managed international agreements that the Navy has with navies and countries all over the world.
Did you get any further education while you were with the Navy?
I did. While I was at the Pentagon, I started going at night to get my LLM, which is a master's in law, and I got that at Georgetown University Law Center in national security law, focusing mostly on cybersecurity and privacy-related issues.
Can you tell us more about cybersecurity that you studied?
Yeah, anything from cyber investigations and prosecutions to compliance. What companies have to do when they retain your data, which, as I think we probably all know, companies know everything about us these days. So, what they have to do to protect them, under.
Says the dude who couldn't cover up his car's Bluetooth and his cell phone data. Never mind. There's just well, I'm sure he'll get to that.
Their regulatory rules, how they can use things, what they're allowed to do.
At some point, did you leave the Pentagon?
I did. I left in, I want to say September of 2017. I left active duty.
And where did you go from there?
At that point, I went to a Department of the Navy job with the Board for Correction of Naval Records. It is mostly when folks leave the military. There are other things that they do, but for the most part, when folks leave the military and don't have the discharge that they want, we talk about honorable discharges, and then there are 4 that aren't as good. Sometimes either months or years later, they want to try to upgrade that to a better discharge, and those cases are reviewed by the Board for Correction of Naval Records.
But you were no longer with the Navy at that point. Is that correct?
I was not a member of the Navy. I was a civilian working for the Navy, and I was a Navy reservist at that time.
When did you cease being a Navy reservist?
I think officially I ceased being a Navy reservist in the fall of 2019, summer, fall of 2019, but I'm not exactly sure of that date. I had stopped drilling. And by drilling, we mean when people talk about the reserves, it's that 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks a year.
This is really super non-responsive.
I had stopped doing that 1 weekend a month sometime before that in anticipation of leaving the reserves.
What's the process for when you leave the active duty in the Navy?
You have to write a request, and it goes through your immediate boss, and then it winds up in Millington, Tennessee, at Navy Personnel Command, where it is either you were allowed to leave or you were told no for some reason.
Is there a letter of resignation?
There is a letter of resignation.
I'm sorry. 1 second. Please let me finish the question before you respond. So, is there a letter of resignation that goes along with that?
Yes, there is.
What did you state in your letter of resignation, if you recall?
If I recall, it was that I wanted more geographic stability and more professional stability. So the Navy JAG Corps puts a lot of emphasis on both moving constantly and also taking a lot of different jobs. They want people who are very well-rounded. They can plug into any job at a moment's notice, which is obviously useful for the military, but I wanted to be able to concentrate more professionally.
When did you leave the Naval Reserve?
That was, I believe, fall 2019.
Did that also have a resignation process involving a letter?
It did.
And what did you state in that letter?
I love it. I love it.
If I recall correctly, at that point, it was I talked about some health issues that my wife Mindy was going through.
Let's go back a little bit
Okay.
to your time in the Navy. Tell us about your personal life during that
Okay,
time.
so yes. So we have here, thanks to Northwest, this was Mindy's best friend here in the front with the glasses on her head, and behind her with the short hair, that's the victim's advocate.
When I arrived in Norfolk, I was single, and several months later, I met then
Norfolk.
Heather Bassett, who I later married.
Do you recall when you married Heather Bassett?
September 26th, 2009.
Tell us about that marriage.
It was not great. We had a lot of issues, I think, kind of throughout, to the point where I later heard the night before our wedding, she told somebody publicly that she didn't think it was going to last. We had I was deployed a lot. I was deployed for a large chunk of our engagement. I was deployed within 2 months of us getting married. I don't think either of those is also a good step for marital success.
for fuck's sake.
But
Yeah,
you know,
right.
we
Needle dick.
I think we had a lot of disagreements kind of throughout our marriage.
What kind of disagreements did you have?
Things about money, about career moves, about children.
What were the disagreements about children?
When we had started dating, Heather had stated that she wanted children and that it would be relatively easy for her to have children. Well, she had a
Really?
something called PCOS. I'm not really sure what you would call it. It's not a disease.
So he's about to try to blame her. That's what's going to happen here. Oh my God. Oh my God.
It's a
Oh my God.
syndrome of some type that there were medications she could take that would make it very easy down the line for her to have children.
Did you ever have children with Miss Bassett?
I did not. No, we discussed it many times. At one point, we both got tested to see if everything was in working order, but she chose not to take the medication and therefore we never had children. I don't believe there was never a pregnancy or the attempt of a pregnancy.
When did you tell me about the end of your marriage to Heather?
In sometime in 2015, we had been having.
Oh, Doug's face. Watch this. This is a defense attorney. Again, God bless him. Hold on. This says it all right here. Watch him.
When did you tell me about the end of your marriage to Heather?
He hates his life. I don't blame him, but he's doing a great job with this. Whew. Wow.
Sometime in 2015, we had been having, I wouldn't even say issues because we weren't arguing, but she was gone a lot. She was spending nights at friend's house, which was unusual. She was not around much. And at one point when she was around, she asked me to help her print a document from her computer. And while I was doing that, a Facebook message popped up on it that was obviously romantic in nature.
Oh my God, he's
I-
still going to maintain the cheating allegations?
She kind of snatched it away and said, "Oh, I just remembered how to print on here." And
Wow.
I started, I guess, look.
If anything, if nothing else, at least use this use this, he was on the stand for like a full fucking day. At least use that day, besides, sealing your guilty verdict. At least what he could have done is at least made some sort of attempt to come across as even remotely less of a giant, I don't even know, you guys, fill in the blank. But he's just doubling down on all of it.
Looking into what was going on, and about a week later, I confronted her.
Unbelievable.
At the time, I took a recording of the conversation.
Motherfucker.
But I said I knew that she was seeing somebody. She told me that she'd been seeing a coworker of hers for some time, a man named Anthony Thomas, and she left that day and moved to his house, and then kind of moved back. I
So
believe
he's the victim, right? He's the victim, guys. That's what he wants the jury to believe.
the next day, and we
Classic.
talked about things for a little while. She continued to see him, and then she moved out again back into his house.
Did you eventually get divorced?
We did. I filed for divorce on September 1st of 2015, and it was granted about a month and a half later, if memory serves, sometime in October.
Although having said that, I suppose his imaginary victimhood actually started at birth, since he claims he was stolen at birth. So I guess his victimhood would go all the way back to then, right?
Were you represented by counsel during that divorce?
I was not.
Again,
Was Heather?
idiot. Complete fucking idiot.
She was not.
You said the divorce was finalized about a month later.
Roughly, yes. It was October of 2015.
Do you know if Heather ever remarried following your divorce?
She did. The following day, she married Tony, as he goes by, the man that she was seeing, that she told me she was seeing during our marriage.
When did you meet Mindy Kassotis?
I met Mindy on September 18th, 2015.
How did you meet?
We had met on a dating website called OkCupid, and we had talked for, I don't know, maybe a week or so, and then we met at a restaurant in Alexandria, Virginia.
You recall where you met?
Yeah, it's called Blackwall Hitch. It's a restaurant kind of right down by the water. It's a nice little spot.
And you eventually married Mindy Kassotis. Mindy,
What the fuck with it? It's a nice little spot. We're not here for your freaking TripAdvisor reviews. Like, jury, just in case you're ever in the area, highly recommend, what the fuck's it called?
Virginia.
you recall where you met?
Yeah, it's called Blackwall Hitch. It's
Blackwall Hitch, guys. You heard it here. If you want a good recommendation, take it from him. This guy. There you go. Blackwall Hitch. You heard it from him. On fucking Yelp. Thank you. Yeah, Yelp review. Thank you. That's it. Yelp review. Dude, now I'm wondering, do you guys think that somewhere out there on the internet there is a review written by this guy of Blackwall Hitch? Does anyone want to go digging and look for that? Would it be on Yelp? Where else are people leaving restaurant reviews? I have the feeling, given the fact that he feels it's important enough to tell the jury at his murder trial, the likelihood that he wrote a review because he wants everyone to know that his opinion is superior and therefore they should take his recommendation above everyone else's, right? Think about that. Think about the superiority complex and how he would want to give the best recommendation and have the most expertise in providing that recommendation. I could see it.
Stupid. And we had talked for, I don't know, maybe a week or so. And then we met at a restaurant in Alexandria, Virginia.
Do you recall where you met?
Yeah, it's called Blackwall Hitch. It's a restaurant kind of right down by the water. It's a nice little spot.
Oh, memory lane. What the fuck is happening?
And you eventually married Mindy Kassotis, Mindy McBain Kassotis, correct?
Fairly
Okay,
quickly.
that's
Yeah,
right.
I mean, it was, I mean, I would say within a month we were talking about marriage. Starting to look at wedding venues. It happened very quickly, and we married just over a year later on October 9th, 2016.
At the
We're gonna
time
get
that
to
you
that, Northwest.
married
Let me get to that.
Mindy McBain Kassotis,
I've
you
got
still
it
had
ready.
obligations under your divorce decree to Heather, correct?
Yes, I did.
Do you recall the specific obligations that you had?
Yes, there were two loans that we were both on: a personal loan where we had refinanced some credit cards, if I remember correctly, and a Chevy Silverado. And later, I was also at that point living in the marital property and making payments on the mortgage. But later on, she asked because
Again, every time I hear marital property or marital home, I just have PTSD flashbacks to Sarah Boone. But as far as his story, my mother-in-law was poisoning me. Then I found out why. I've got that ready to go. We're gonna wait to read that when that comes up in the
had
testimony.
been purchased under her VA mortgage. For people who are veterans, they have the right to a VA mortgage. It had been purchased under her VA mortgage, right? So she asked me to work on refinancing and removing her from that so that she could use her VA mortgage for home purchase with Tony.
Were you able to do that refinancing?
I was not. No, I had started the process. I had paid for an attorney because there was deed work required. It was kind of a lengthy process, and by the time it was reaching fruition, a lot of other things were going wrong.
Did you fulfill any of the other obligations that were required to be fulfilled in your divorce decree from Heather?
Some of them, there was a lump sum payment, I believe, of $3,000 to pay off a bill that I paid off. And I was working on other things, but they did not come to.
What about your 32
Did Heather
mil?
eventually pursue you for your failure to fulfill your obligations?
She did.
What did she do?
She filed some sort of a complaint in court saying that I was not fulfilling my obligations under a divorce decree.
How did that resolve itself?
I believed that it resolved itself in an agreement and then a payment to her.
What was the agreement on what you were supposed to pay Heather in that resolution?
In that resolution, I was supposed to pay her roughly $1.5 million.
Did you make that payment?
I believed the payment was made on my behalf. I did not actually make the payment, but I saw documentation and I believed at the time that it was made. I had no reason not to. I
believe you told the court you had $32 million. Is that correct?
That's what I was told. That's what I had been provided documentation to show.
Let's go ahead and get into that.
Yes, sir.
You said things began to get weird. Can you explain that to the jury and also explain about the timeframes for that?
Yes. In 2017, we were discussing my upcoming departure from active duty. We were discussing, starting a family, several things. And Mindy was very actively watching all of our spending because she wanted to make sure that we were in the best position financially. And she started noticing odd deductions from our accounts that weren't tied to anything that we were doing. Sometimes they seemed to be, the ones she showed me were, they didn't even have transaction numbers. It would just say something like payment and hundreds of dollars would go missing. At the time, we thought it was an error with our bank.
Mindy.
We were banking with USAA at the time.
Did you tell other people about the bank issue outside of Mindy?
At this time, I don't know that we did. We might have, but again, in early 2017, we did not think that this was a serious issue.
Did you take that up with your bank, USAA?
Mindy
No.
did. I was at this time both working full time in the Pentagon, looking for jobs, and I was still taking that LLM at
You
night.
know what he's
So
saying here?
I
He's
was-
like, I had sorry, like I couldn't be bothered with like banking issues because I just had like the nation's security on my hands. Like, never mind. Like, pardon me. Like, that's what he's fucking saying.
kind of burning the candle at both ends.
Oh
but
my
she was taking care of kind of our. Mindy was not working at this time, so she was in charge of that.
And again, when you say at this time, would you tell the jury the rough time frame of
This is early to mid 2017.
Poor Doug. He keeps interrupting him.
Please let me get my questions out so that the
I'm
court
sorry.
reporter can get it all
Oh
down.
my God.
You said 2018?
2017.
2017. Anything else strange begin to happen around that time frame?
Not at that time, though. We had been having kind of some, I'll say, familial arguments. Mindy, it started with Mindy and my brother Chris, and kind of evolved over time to include our parents. It was, at that time, I believed it to be kind of normal marital, a new wife, somebody that they didn't know very well, and these were kind of grown. Sometimes, but more often between Mindy and my brother at this time.
Your brother Chris.
My brother Chris.
Okay. Any other weirdness begin to happen later?
Yes, sometime in late 2017, we'd seen kind of a brief reprieve where we thought that things had, our bank had fixed the issues, that things were no longer going wrong, and suddenly it kind of restarted with a lot more than it had before, and we also started seeing vandalism at our house. I would sometimes get anonymous emails stating, that I was going to be hurt or killed. Our mail would go missing.
There we go.
Did you ever report that to any law enforcement?
I did.
Who did you report that to?
I reported that to the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
How did you report it to the
Not something you can actually do. You can't just like report a crime to the FBI.
FBI?
On their website somewhere, they had a, report a crime. And,
On their website somewhere, they had reported. Can you imagine if that were even remote? Can you imagine the type of people? I'm telling you, just even the type of calls that I hear on a daily basis to defense attorneys. Can you imagine what would happen if the FBI had like, click here to report a crime? Can you even imagine, y'all, the type of things? I could give all kinds of stories, but whatever you guys could think of that's as crazy as you could possibly conjure in your imagination, I promise you, the things that they would hear would be things you couldn't even dream of. It's, this is really, again, he just outdoes himself time after time.
things of that nature.
Did you ever report that to any law enforcement?
I did.
Who did you report that to?
I reported that to the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
How did you report it to the FBI?
On their website somewhere, they had a, report a crime.
I mean, it's hard to say, like, of all of the things, which thing is the most outlandish? And I keep thinking each thing is, but like this might win at this point of the most outlandish of all of the lies. I mean, really, like I just can't even fucking, and I'm just making sure I've got that short story ready to go for you guys as well here.
And I filed a complaint there, and I believe Mindy also filed a complaint there.
Where were you living at the time?
I was living at 3805 Adrian Drive in Alexandria, Virginia. That was the house that Heather and I had purchased while we were married, and I continued living there after the dissolution of our marriage. And then later, when I met Mindy and she moved in, we lived in that house.
Did you report it to the Alexandria Police Department?
I did not.
What county is Alexandria in?
Virginia is a little strange, but there is an Alexandria City part of Alexandria, which is, so they are their own county. And then there's a Fairfax County part of Alexandria, which is where I live.
Did you report it to any county law enforcement?
I did not.
What happened after?
I'm sorry, can I say why? The mayor.
Back up. What? Hang on. What? Guys.
But there's an Alexandria City part of Alexandria, which is, so they are their own county. And then there's a Fairfax County part of Alexandria, which is where I live.
Did you report it to any county law enforcement?
I did not.
What happened after?
I'm sorry, can I say why?
What is happening? Who are you even asking? The jury? And no one even answered him. He's just going to launch into his whatever the fuck narrative. Oh my God. Hey, in case you didn't know this, the defense attorney is there to ask you the questions. What is happening? Trying to think, have we ever seen this in a trial before? I think I've seen this once or twice, but not from the defendant. Because normally they understand what they've been told, what not to do, and would never, I mean, my experience wouldn't do this. I mean, but of all people, I mean, what? Sorry, Meg, I should have given you a fair warning before I goaded.
The mail, my understanding, was a federal crime as well as
Sorry,
banking
Matt.
issues.
I
And since they all seemed, I imagine that they were all connected. I did not think going to local law enforcement would accomplish anything except for a police report.
Pardon me, let me backtrack for a moment.
Yes, sir.
When you were at the Pentagon,
Oh my
was there
God.
ever any publicity surrounding your name?
There was.
What was
Yeah,
that about?
yeah, that's a good point,
In
Amanda.
summer of 2016, I think about a month before our wedding, a high-profile case regarding a Marine
Oh,
had wound its way past my desk, and it resulted a memo that I had been the initial author of.
oh my
Was,
God, I remember hearing about this. Do you guys remember this? He was involved in this? Hold on, let me back this up. I vaguely remember, I don't know much about it, but I remember hearing about this.
for our wedding, a high-profile case regarding a Marine had wound its way past my desk, and it resulted a memo that I had been the initial author of was quoted in the Washington Post. We got a lot of attention.
My God.
Why did it get a lot of attention?
I think because of the both some of the underlying facts of the case. I wasn't involved in the underlying facts of the case, but several Marines were killed in Afghanistan by a corrupt Afghan police officer. There were some very salacious, awful personal details about him and crimes he committed against children, and it had to do with emailing classified information. That was the case that came to me. Was this Marine who had retained and then emailed in unclassified form classified information. And for any of you who remember the 2016 election, that was a big issue about who was putting what on unclassified emails. So I think that kind of the timing, a couple months before that election, it was a perfect storm to get some press attention.
How, if at all, did that press attention affect you at the time?
At the time, I was in the process of applying to jobs. I'd actually had a third or fourth interview at a position I believed I was going to get, and very suddenly was not even being contacted anymore.
Yet again, a victim.
Okay, let's move back forward to the vandalism that you were experiencing. What type of vandalism was that?
Nails in our tires, a broken window, things of that nature. I mean, we wouldn't even move our car some days, and then we'd have a new hole in the tire.
Was there any result of you making this report to the FBI?
Yes, there was.
What happened?
I contacted I tried to contact a former colleague who worked with the Department of Justice. I hoped that it would get us out of the bin of everybody's complaints and a bit more attention. I wasn't sure if I had managed to contact him, just because of his job. He keeps a very low profile. But several days later, I got a call at work. This was when I was working as a civilian at the Board for Correction and Naval Records, and Mindy said that an FBI agent had come to the house.
I do believe we are getting to the origins of the infamous Jim. This is Mom.
What did you do after learning that an FBI agent had come to the house?
I asked her what they talked about. She said that he was there in regards to what had been happening to us, that he would be returning in the near future. I don't recall everything. It's been, 7 years. I'm not sure exactly what she told me that day versus what I learned shortly thereafter.
What was the name given by the FBI agent?
Jim McIntyre.
There it is. Bing, bing, bing.
What happened next with respect to Jim
Jim
McIntyre?
fucking
He came back a
McIntyre.
couple days later.
Did you meet with him at that time?
I did.
Tell us about that.
He came to the house. I believe he had called to schedule it to make sure that I was going to be home at the time. He seemed very thorough, very professional. He wanted to know everything that had happened. He wanted copies of the emails that we had received. He wanted specific issues with the banks. I believe we printed out screenshots of the charges that showed what had been going on, and we provided all that to him. And he said that it was something he took seriously and that he would be investigating it.
So some random individual shows up at your house, says he's with the FBI, and claims to be a man named Jim McIntyre. What did you do to verify that information?
I didn't verify it. Mindy believed that she'd seen a badge, or she told me at the time that she'd seen a badge. I had no reason to doubt that he was who he said he was. It didn't cross my mind that somebody else could have shown up at my house at that time.
And what was your education again at this point in time?
At this point, I had my LLM. I had 2 law degrees and my bachelor's.
Poor Doug. Again, like I said, can we take a little detour from this insanity as we start talking about his imaginary FBI agent, not friend, enemy, frenemy? I don't even know. Let's just take a little quick chat and remind everybody about your education. Ugh.
I also worked with
Poor
FBI agents in
Doug.
a number of different fields. I did not see anything that caused me to question that he was who he said he was. In fact, I thought that we were lucky. I had, as this was going on, I read multiple news reports of people who'd undergone cyber stalking and cyber crimes, and often it seemed like their big battle was getting somebody to believe what was going on, getting law enforcement to take it seriously, getting law enforcement who had jurisdiction over the crimes to take it seriously. And I thought we were lucky. I said many times how lucky we were.
What did Jim McIntyre advise you?
Over the coming weeks or months, he advised us that he believed that this Washington Post article had got me some attention that I was from a overseas hacking group of some sort that was targeting members of the military. He said that we should relax somewhat because he believed that the local vandalism and things of that nature were likely something they were paying kids to do or something of that nature. We were not in real danger. It was meant to be harassing us, and that he was continuing to investigate it.
Do you recall the approximate time or date that Jim McIntyre initially showed up and you had this conversation?
This was sometime in late 2017.
Did you eventually leave your civilian job with the Navy?
Yes, I left my civilian job in February of 2018.
What did you do at that point in time for work?
At that point, I believed I was being employed by a software company that he had connected me to, that Jim McIntyre had connected me to.
He believed he was employed.
What software company did you believe you were employed by?
The name changed multiple times over the years that I believe I worked there. The ending name was Apis Limited,
There it is.
which I believe is the Latin word for bee or something like that.
Oh my God, he has to explain it. You know why? Because I bet he knows that everyone's been making fun of this whole fucking thing, and that I always thought this name was super dumb. And I wonder if he has to explain it again, but he's pretending that he didn't come up with it, right? But he can't help himself by explaining where the name came from. Oh my God.
The name changed multiple times over the years that I believe I worked there. The ending name was Apis Limited, which I believe is the Latin word for bee or something like that.
Well,
like a bumblebee or a honeybee.
Like a bumblebee or a honeybee. Oh my God, one more time. The bumblebee of it all. The bumblebee. I'm going to lose it. The bumblebee. Like as if the jury doesn't know what a bee is. Like as if the jury doesn't know what a bee is. Oh my God.
Over the years that I believe I worked there, the ending name was Apis Limited, which I believe is the Latin word for bee or something like that.
Well,
like a bumblebee or a honeybee.
Do you know why Jim McIntyre would help you find a job?
Yeah, I believe that he was helping me because of our situation, that he knew people, which is not uncommon. Private sector and the government on criminal, especially cyber investigations, often have to work very hand in hand. And as I had talked to him, and I was hoping to find something that would allow me to work from home, because despite his reassurances that he did not think at that time we were in real danger, I was very uncomfortable leaving Mindy home alone. We had suffered a very serious car accident. She had a lot of health issues following that, and leaving my frail wife at home by herself when we're undergoing this was something that really bothered me.
Thanks, Heather.
When you were working for this company that eventually becomes Apis Limited, where were you working from?
I was working from home.
So this was remote work?
This was remote work.
Where were they headquartered?
I believe they were headquartered in Colorado.
Don Kevin.
Though I believe they were incorporated in Wyoming. I saw some incorporation documents, and that's not uncommon. Wyoming does not have a corporate income tax, the same way that most large corporations.
Oh, and this is just, who all saw this coming, right? He has to make sure he takes every opportunity to inform the jury because they're here for his knowledge. This isn't a murder trial. Like, he has to educate and inform everybody when it's not even fucking relevant to anything.
I believe they were headquartered in Colorado at the time. Though I believe they were incorporated in Wyoming. I saw some incorporation documents, and that's not uncommon. Wyoming does not have a corporate income tax, the same way that most large corporations are headquartered in Delaware because of the laws.
What was your role within Apis Limited?
I was an attorney, kind of a general counsel role.
Were you the queen bee? Were you the lead bumble queen bee?
So it carried with it a lot of kind of other stuff. Sometimes I would be called on to help look through data records that were being generated by the software.
What was the nature of their business?
The nature of their business was AI software development, basically using artificial intelligence software to analyze data and find connections between it.
Were you doing any coding for them at this time?
Very little. Sometimes I would be asked to look at something. I do have a somewhat of a coding background, but it was not something that I was called on regularly to do because frankly there were other people who were much better at it than me. I think sometimes there are situations where everybody else knows too much about a problem and somebody who's looking at it with fresh eyes can help, but very rarely was I asked to look at any coding.
Were you still with this company in
What type of
2019?
nonsense
Yes, I
is
was.
that?
And that's about the same time that Heather is coming, finally bringing it to a head to collect this divorce obligations that you failed to perform.
Yes.
So when you agreed to pay her $1.5 million, what made you think that you had $1.5 million?
Mr. Jim McIntyre told me I did.
Oh
If I
my
could back up just a
God.
little, because that year, the year 2018 into early 2019, a lot had happened. In May, we were told to leave our house. He said that there were arrests being made and that
Here we go.
there was nobody. It was a holiday weekend. I believe it was Memorial Day weekend, and that we would not. He was worried we would not be safe if we stayed there. That somebody might do something rash, and
Just blame Jim McIntyre. It's all his fault. You guys, just for anyone who's not familiar, this person doesn't exist. Okay. Jim McIntyre doesn't exist.
and we were terrified.
So, in terms of third party culprit, right? We go with that, right? Third party culprit or alternate perpetrator. We've got an alternate perpetrator that is a person who does not exist.
We kind of grabbed our dog and we went down to Williamsburg, Virginia. There's a naval base right outside Williamsburg, Naval Weapons Station Yorktown, that has little vacation cabins on, and we kind of huddled down there for the weekend and came back thinking that everything was over. It was not.
And then,
over.
of course, Northwest, it makes a good point. Jim McIntyre's on the stand now. Right. Of course, right. I mean, he would have the jury think it's a completely separate person. But yes, I mean, agreed. Yeah, one and the same, and also imaginary in that he wants them to be separate.
Obviously, we things continued. If anything, it picked up pace. The money going disappearing, the issues with our bank accounts, the issues with emails, mail, vandalism of our house. So we were in contact with Mr. McIntyre, or man, we knew it was Mr. McIntyre again, and he started looking for other suspects. He said at that time it was clear that somebody else was doing this, and he was casting a wider net.
Casting a wider net.
Why would Jim McIntyre know how much money you had?
Because there was a large sale or licensing agreement that was completed at some point. I wasn't getting paid by this company. I was paid only in stock options.
Here we go.
And I was told that this large sum of money was being given to me. I believe this was late 2018. Honestly, it felt kind of like a lottery ticket. It was something that I had never expected. But we had real issues with getting a large chunk of money because
We're getting to the short story.
we can put a couple $100s into our account without it going missing within a matter of minutes, if not hours.
They just keep putting money in and it just keeps missing and they just keep doing it. It's great. It's all good.
So during that time, he said he set up a trust. He showed us extensive documentation where
Oh my God. I'm sorry. Hold on. Did y'all notice how Doug Weinstein doesn't even ask another question? He's like flipping through his pages, probably like, what the fuck do I do? Because it's just this dude. And so he just keeps talking. I can't.
and but we had real issues with getting a large chunk of money because we can put a couple $100s into our account without it going missing within a matter of minutes, if not hours.
What?
So during that time, he said he set up a
He's like, well, I'll just keep talking. Oh my God.
trust. He showed us extensive documentation where it would be invested and care would be taken of it, and it wouldn't be anything that we could touch or until it was safe to do so. And also, it was thankfully something that nobody else could touch because of that same reason.
So eventually you go into court in Virginia because Heather's attempting to get this $1.5 million from you,
He's like, let's just try to get back to the question here.
correct?
Yes, and we were dealing with two loans that were both under $20,000 and a mortgage that was about $550,000, maybe $600,000. So this
the warrant is a game changer here for this entire thing. Wow.
Was something that Jim had suggested to me to make an offer to her, both because in the lead up we were unsure if Heather might be involved in what was going on against us.
Heather making a distinction that she is not, in fact, his first wife. Thank you, Heather.
She was one of many suspects that he discussed with us. He went into really great depth in everybody in our life, and And he said this was one of those situations where
Jim McIntyre thinks Heather, the first wife, is the culprit. Say any of this with a straight face. I really don't understand.
if
He's missing a great opportunity to laugh, I will just say. I mean, honestly, like if you're this defendant and you're this fucked with your case, really, why are you going to actually give up all these opportunities that you could be laughing for real?
he was involved, I would never have to pay her anything. It would all be forfeited when she was arrested. If she was not involved, she had suffered along with us through this. There was an effect on her life. Things that she had to deal with in terms of her employment. So,
Why would you tell the judge that Mindy was the impediment to you paying the $1.5 million?
at the time, that's what I was told.
Mm-hmm.
And you heard the judge warn you that you better come up with that money in the next week, correct?
Absolutely.
And what did the judge tell you would happen if you didn't come up with that money in the next week?
That I'd be held in contempt and arrested.
Northwest says it was the dog Rusty. 1 million squirrel points to you. Yep, there you go. I mean, if he doesn't at some point blame Rusty, it will be the one element in this entire fiasco that comes out unscathed. I mean, also Rusty, rest in peace. But that is amazing, Northwest.
Did you come up with that money in the next week?
I believe I did.
Why did you believe you did?
Because when I returned home, both Mindy and Jim McIntyre were there. I thought I was going to have to go to Atlanta to meet with Mindy. She had been gone for several days, but Jim said that this was, kind of his last investigative step into Heather, into Mrs. Thomas, and he said that she was not involved in what was going on. That he had wired the money. I had a wire confirmation, and I had bank documents later showing that money coming out of the trust, and I assumed that everything was settled.
Do you have any of that documentation right now?
I do not anymore.
Why not?
Because we left that house later.
Who raise your hand, raise your scroll paw if you're shocked. Who here is shocked that he doesn't happen to have any documentation of any of this?
That year, and I don't know if we left it there or if it has something that we lost over time, but we moved a lot. So
You say when you say you left that house, you're referring to the house in Alexandria?
yes, the Adrian Drive house in Alexandria, the one that Heather and I had purchased together.
So the court issue was January of 2019, is that correct?
That's correct.
When did you leave your house in Alexandria?
I left my house in Alexandria in late October of 2019.
And did you leave the state of Virginia at that time?
No, I did not.
Where did you go?
I went to the Charlottesville, Virginia area. It's roughly 2 hours southwest of Alexandria.
Why did you move to Charlottesville?
We were looking at relocating to Charlottesville. It was an area that we both like. It's more rural. It's very pretty, and we were hoping to live there.
Where did you stay in Charlottesville?
We stayed at a rental property.
Sorry, you guys, y'all are just killing me in the chat because we had you guys, Kevin bringing it home with Rust in Peace. I mean, yeah, winning right there. On that one, I gave him 1 million squirrel points for that. And then we have Twiz with Not Me. He didn't know Rusty was going to bring him murder.
And I was told that the gym, within a day or two, had rented us a longer term rental that we could use and that we'd be moving into that.
Where were all of your personal and household effects at that time?
So we had 3 groups of stuff. We were told to leave with roughly 2 weeks of stuff because that's what it would take for us, everything else to catch up with us. We had a moving pod at the house that I personally packed up with, 90% of what we owned. And then we had some things that I was worried were too delicate to put in a pod. I called Mr. McIntyre and said, if I put this in here, it's going to be destroyed. Things like photographs, framed pictures, china. And he said to get a local storage unit, put it in there, and give him the key, and then he would help. He would have it moved later on.
And was it moved later on?
I have absolutely no idea.
You weren't concerned that all of your goods?
Did you sue Jim McIntyre for stealing your china?
I was very concerned about our things, but I was told it was moved, but I have absolutely no idea if it was actually moved.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
And who found your place in Charlottesville?
I found our initial rental in Charlottesville. He had found what he told us was going to be the long-term place that we were.
And where was that long-term place?
I believe it was Nelson County, or it's a little west of Charlottesville. And I haven't been there in a couple of years, so I forget the exact name of the.
I mean, he may as well just throw in Timbuktu. I believe it was in Timbuktu. It's like, I don't think it would have even made a difference. Just to see if anyone's even paying, like if the jury's even like keeping track, because at this point, I mean, why? Like how? The type of calculator you would need. I don't think such a calculator even exists. powerful enough to calculate all of the nonsense / lies / crimes / insanity.
The county.
Now, you're still working for APIS Limited at this time?
I am.
Come on,
12,
buddy.
15 hours a day at times.
12, 15 hours a day.
Yes.
What were you doing?
Slaving away for the bumblebees, guys. Slaving away. Lo, how he toils, right?
For 12, 15 hours a day.
Reviewing data, reviewing memos, typing memos.
I mean, he's just basically a modern day serf, if you will.
Anything other than that riveting work?
No. A lot of time staring at a computer screen.
Yes.
Did you eventually leave Charlottesville?
We
Northwest.
did.
Yes.
The
That's it.
the night that we arrived
I'm
there.
sorry, I just have to read like Northwest, yes. Jury thinks they're being punked on a reality show. Me too. I'm in that club also. Yes. That, whenever people join and they're like, what trial is this? I'm new to this. Can you summarize it? Literally this right here. How do you describe this trial? Right? Because every time I try to give a synopsis, I just fail miserably. I just like short circuit every time. This right here. Jury thinks they're being punked on a reality show. That's it. That's how you do it.
Or possibly the next day, I was assaulted at the house that he had set up as a long-term rental. At that time, he had told me that I was being targeted by members of my family, most specifically my father, Wayne Kassotis.
Oh my God.
Did you believe that?
I did believe that.
Why would you believe that your own father would travel to Charlottesville and assault you?
At that time, we had been looking at literally everyone in our lives. My ex-wife, Mindy's ex-boyfriend, a former boss of Mindy's best friend who had tried to assault her at one point. Anyone who might have ill will held against us. And he, at some point he had come back to us in mid to late 2019 and said, I have information, that this is being perpetrated by your family for reasons unknown. At the time, he said he assumed it was financial because of this large amount of money that we had received. And things were very bad with my family at this point. We were,
Meanwhile, his family supporting him in the courtroom, by the way.
we've always been very close, but things were. We weren't speaking. Things had gotten so strained that we were not in contact at all. He and somebody that he had put me on the phone with, to talk about kind of.
I'm going to interrupt you for a
Okay.
moment to ask you to try to not use pronouns where it's unclear who you're referring to.
I'm sorry.
So when you say he, can you continue and use actual names?
Yeah. Jim had set me up to speak with somebody over the phone. I'd been in therapy before, and somebody who said was a therapist who said I showed a lot of signs of repressed abuse at the hands of my family. That
Oh my God, you guys. Well, why not, right? Why not? What haven't we involved? What haven't we had yet? Oh, okay, first of all, this dude's never seen a therapist, first of all. He's going to literally say he was abused? I can't, y'all. Also, Twiz is asking about the money, the 32 mil. I'm pretty sure the quote unquote large lump sum of money he's referencing is actually the $300,000 from the short story. Correct me if I'm wrong, Northwest, but I'm pretty sure that that's what he's actually referencing, that his family was like coming after him or whatever because of this quote unquote large lump sum of money, which is the 300,000, which is for the short story, which we're going to be getting to here shortly. I'm pretty sure is what he's referencing. And then of course the stolen at birth, right? Yeah, yeah.
I'd been
Oh,
in therapy
no, okay,
before,
thank you.
and somebody who said was a therapist who said I showed a lot of signs of repressed abuse at the hands of my family. That we had extremely unhealthy things going on within the family structure, and at the time it kind of unfortunately made sense just because of how bad things were, and it was so strange and frankly so scary at the time. We had been
Strange.
I mean, this is mid 2019. We've been dealing with this now for over 2 years, and it was only getting worse.
What kind of assault did you suffer?
I was attacked from behind. Somebody hit me with something hard.
Y'all. Best trial of all time. It wins. Did you guys?
Unfortunately made sense just because of how bad things were, and it was so strange and frankly so scary at the time. We had been. I mean, this is.
I'm gonna have to clip this. We need this as one of our lovely sound clips. We need to have this at the ready, guys.
Mid 2019. We've been dealing with this now for over 2 years, and it was only getting worse.
What kind of assault did you suffer?
I was attacked from behind. Somebody hit me with something hard.
Sounds like some blunt force trauma to me. What do you guys think?
I don't know if it was a
I can't. I'm not like you guys.
board or a baseball bat or something, but I was
A hard piece of wood.
hit multiple times. I was kicked in the face.
Did you seek medical treatment?
Oh my
I did.
God.
Did you make reports to law enforcement?
I believe I did. I made that night. I called Mr. McIntyre and told him what had happened. He
I believe I did. It's like, wait, how do you what? Oh, that's why. Right.
the one who brought me to a medical clinic the next day. The following
I
morning.
know.
Did you eventually leave Charlottesville?
We did. We were very concerned. He told us at that time that he was taking over, making all of our rental arrangements, and we started doing what we would unfortunately do for some time to come, which was moving fairly regularly. Packing everything up, sometimes on only an hour notice and going to another house.
Because you had
so-
a warrant.
so we did
out
that
your
for-
arrest.
I guess we got there at the beginning of November or the very end of.
Oh, Doug's face. Doug's face. Doug's face.
So we did that for. I guess we got there at the beginning of November or the very end of October, and we were there until.
You know what Doug said when he left court this day? When Doug Weinstein, the defense attorney, when he got done with trial this day, you guys know what he said? You guys know what he said? Hold on. He walked out of the courthouse, and here's what he said.
I need a drink.
That's what he said.
Right before Christmas.
There being Charlottesville?
I'm sorry, we were in Charlottesville or the surrounding areas. I don't know that we were ever in Charlottesville proper, but we were in the surrounding areas for 2 months.
And why did you leave Charlottesville?
He said that he felt like it would be better for us to get out of Virginia for a while. I think after the assault, Mindy also wanted to spend Christmas with her family. Her family all lived at this point in South Carolina, the Hilton Head area.
Yep. Yep.
I'm not sure exactly if her parents were in that immediate area at the time, but
I mean, yeah. And also, when we finish with this trial, which again, we're getting close to that because we don't have a whole lot left to go. Doug Weinstein does give some interviews after, and also there's at least one juror interview. So we have that to look forward to also. Heather, Doug said I need to double down on my mirror exercises, mother of God.
her family would all be in Hilton Head for Christmas.
Forgive me, pronouns are the bane of my existence.
Yes,
I'm trying to use, and he is who in this?
He is Jim McIntyre.
Mother of God.
So where did you move to?
At this point,
Me too. He is, let's all take a guess. Oh, I
they would all
know.
be in Hilton Head for Christmas.
Forgive me, pronouns are the bane of my existence.
Yes,
I'm trying to use, and he is who in this?
He is Jim McIntyre.
So where did you move to?
Don't say.
At this point, we moved into a rental in Hilton Head, South Carolina.
Who found that rental?
He did.
Who paid for that rental?
I came to learn later that Cameron Nelson paid for that
Cameron.
rental. Though at the time, I believe he was paying for it.
Why did you believe Cameron Nelson was paying for that rental?
At the time, I believed Jim McIntyre was paying for the rental.
By the time you believed it,
Yes.
why would you
Wonder.
believe Jim McIntyre, this FBI agent, is paying for the rental of your homes?
I assumed that he was paying for it out of our own money, but because he had access to this trust, I didn't think this was coming out of FBI funds or anything.
What is happening?
Why did he have access to your money?
Just
Because he was keeping it safe for us, was our understanding.
keep it secret, keep it safe.
So you moved to the Airbnb in Hilton Head. How long were you there?
I don't know that it was an Airbnb. It was
Oh,
a
sorry.
vacation rental. I never saw any of these rental documents.
So, okay, sorry. He just wanted to make sure that he wants to make sure he states it clearly for the record. He's not going out so. Oh my God. He's not going to go out on a limb so far as to say that it was definitely, y'all, I can't even get the sentence out. I literally can't get the sentence out of my mouth. Hold on. I'm going to rewind this and try to compose myself.
So you moved to the Airbnb in Hilton Head. How long were you there?
I don't know that it was an Airbnb. It was
Oh,
a
sorry.
vacation rental.
He won't go so far as to say it was definitely an Airbnb. Could have been a whatever the fuck else. I don't know what whatever the other alternatives are. He's not going to go that far. He's like, no. You're not going to catch me in any type of accidental, not even actually perjury, because this would be such an easy detail to get mistaken, like as a genuine mistake. But no, not me. I'm not going to call it an Airbnb if I didn't see the documentation saying Airbnb versus fill in the blank other competitors. He's that honest, and he's that thorough, and he's that concerned with the minutia of making sure he states things very accurately. Just yeah.
So you moved to the Airbnb in Hilton Head. How long were you there?
I don't know that it was an Airbnb. It was
Oh,
a
sorry.
vacation rental. I never saw any of these rental documents.
Wow.
So, we were there for no more than a week.
Yes.
And then we were told to move and go to a different rental, also in Hilton Head.
Who told you to move?
Jim McIntyre.
Why?
Because he said that if we stayed in one place too long, that we might be found, that it was dangerous.
How were you feeling at this time?
I was frankly
Poor
terrified.
dog.
I mean, even we had our dog Rusty. Bringing Rusty out to the bathroom was kind of a fraught exercise. I was always worried that somebody was going to be driving by and see us. I was still physically suffering the aftermath and mentally suffering the aftermath of the assault. I was absolutely terrified.
Oh, I was like, wait, what assault? Oh yeah, him getting attacked from behind with a hard piece of wood.
So approximately, when did you move to Hilton Head?
We moved to Hilton Head in roughly late December of 2019. It was either Christmas Eve or we might have arrived the night before that. I believe we arrived the night before, the evening of December 23rd.
And how long did you stay in Hilton Head on this portion?
We stayed in Hilton Head for just over 6 months. We left the second week of June.
And how many places did you live in over that 6-month period?
I would be estimating, but 15 to 25.
You moved 15 to 20 times during that 6-month period.
Yes.
How would you move your things?
Well, that's life on the run, right? When you've got a warrant out for your arrest, which he's somehow failing to mention.
We had, at that time, a couple of cardboard boxes. As time went on, those obviously get destroyed.
You had the large tubs. Don't even dance around it. We all know about the tubs. And for anyone who's new to this case, Mindy's remains, which were dismembered, were found scattered about in the woods. And at those locations were also these large fucking tubs, Home Depot tubs that he used to transport her remains in. And these are the same fucking large ass tubs they used to move their belongings. But he has to try to sugarcoat it by saying we started out with cardboard boxes. And he's about to say, I would imagine that we upgraded to the tubs. And also, Too Fast gifted 10 memberships. Thank you so much, Too Fast. Did he know he had a warrant? That's actually a great question, Twiz, because that's information that they try not to make publicly available, because if people could learn that there's a warrant out for them, then like they would do what he did, basically. Well, maybe not all the things he did. However, I would imagine so, because of the fact that he had to show up in court for the divorce proceeding. I mean, and he knew, because he saw it happen, according to the other testimony, to the other people before him, like, if you get held in contempt and then you don't show up to court, like, you get taken away in handcuffs. Essentially, he would have known he was missing a court date, and he would have known what was going to happen. So he should know. And I would imagine that he has to know, and that's also, again, why he's doing all of this. Was the warrant even extraditable? That's a good question. I will say that, like, we get calls all the time just for people that are like, hey, like, so I live in such and such state, right? And I was pulled over, and I was pulled over in whatever state. Like, let's just say, I don't know, name a state, Connecticut, whatever. I live in Connecticut, and I was pulled over, and they let me know I have a warrant out for my arrest in North Carolina, as an example. So, and like, essentially at that point, I don't know about as far as the extradition. I think it's going to be like, essentially, it gets real complicated, and everybody at that point calls for a defense attorney, because the only way to resolve everything at that point is to resolve the outstanding warrant. And it's a whole thing. Because, like, if the warrant is out there, right, and you've been going about your life for however long, wherever else, and you had yet to be pulled over or stopped by law enforcement for something, and essentially anyone has had yet to see head or tails of you, right? You know what I mean? Like, that warrant's out there, but like, they've not found you. Once that happens, shit hits the fan. And I just know that we've got clients from all kinds of other states that are seeking to resolve these, and it's not easy. and it's a whole thing. And that you in order to resolve it, you have to come back to the state where the warrant was issued from. So I don't know about, as far as like extradition, I don't know about I don't know that they can actually extradite you, but it's almost like forces you to volunteer yourself, if that makes sense, because like your life's about to turn into such a, dumpster fire that the thing that one would do if you don't want to turn into this guy on the stand is you would say, okay, I need to resolve this. You hire a defense attorney, they help you turn yourself in, they work it out, and you resolve it. You resolve it. Like you either resolve it or you turn into this dude, maybe minus the murder part, is what I would say. Yeah, I don't think the civil thing makes a difference though, to be honest, Northwest. I will look into it because we primarily, as y'all know, deal with criminal defense where I work, but I still think, having said that, if a warrant is out for like a homicide, that's going to be a different level of priority. But I don't know. I will look into it, and it might vary by the state. I'll look into it and see. Yeah, Virginia warrant, and Virginia has some different laws than other states. But I will look into it and see here. Yeah. You know what I will do? I'll make a note when I go to work tomorrow, rather than Googling it, I will actually I'll get the good information, which is by asking one or both of the defense attorneys I work for who deal with this stuff on a daily basis, and get the actual legit answer for you guys. I'll just make a note here to ask about that. Because they'll be able to, like I said, they're dealing with this on a daily basis. So, yeah. But good question for that. Thank you for that question, Northwest. I love getting to learn new things. And y'all, when you ask good questions, that's how we learn. Right? I'm going to phone a friend. Yes, absolutely. Yes. If they were awake now, I would phone them now, but they're definitely not awake.
A couple of cardboard boxes. As time went on, those obviously get destroyed. And we had plastic bins that,
there it is.
that were delivered to us.
Right.
And
there they are, the plastic bins.
when those would get destroyed, we would get new ones, and they would get beat up too.
Did you have a vehicle at this point in time?
At this point in time, we did. Yes, we had my Chevy Silverado.
So of those approximately 15 places that you lived in Hilton Head during this time, early 2020, how were those places procured?
By Mr. Jim McIntyre. We never knew when we would move. We never knew when we would move out. Sometimes we'd be in a place for 6 or 7 weeks. Those were rare but wonderful. And sometimes it would be every 2 or 3 days. Sometimes with literally an hour to pack. He would say, you have to be out of the house in an hour. This is where
but I don't think that they were ever even really unpacking. So that keeps things easier in a way.
going. This is the code to get in, pack your things.
Put it in
Why
the
did you
tub.
believe Jim McIntyre was paying for all these places?
I believe that the money was being paid for us. I believe that he was protecting us because of this investigation.
How did Jim McIntyre get Cameron's credit card information? In order to have Cameron pay for all of this?
I have absolutely no idea.
Did you provide it to him?
I did not.
But Cameron provided you with her credit card information, correct?
Yes, Cameron provided me with a physical credit card as well as the billing address that I believed we were using for food from time to time, and 2 initial rentals when we had first left our home. One in Alexandria where we stayed while I was packing up the home, and then the first one in Charlottesville where I thought we would be. And I specifically reached out to her about those 2 rentals, and then I did not think that we were putting anything else large on that card, so we did not talk about it for some time.
You gave Jim McIntyre access to your
For
phone.
anyone who's like, who's Cameron? Cameron, we didn't watch that testimony, but Cameron was a friend of his from I guess the Pentagon or the Navy. But anyway, Cameron was a friend of his who really thought he was a good guy, testified in the trial, and literally I guess Northwest helped me remember, she was going to let him borrow some money or she was essentially helping him out with something. But what he did was he just took her credit cards and ran it up over $150,000 or something. I'm probably getting some of those details wrong, but essentially Cameron was his friend who was actually trying to help him. And he fucked her over for fuck tons of money. Thank you. $197K. Thank you, Northwest. Yeah.
financials?
I gave Jim McIntyre access to literally everything. I believed because of the investigation and that it was necessary. Financial, my bank accounts, my email accounts, my social media accounts, absolutely everything. And so did Mindy.
I'm sorry,
Everything.
tell me the full list, if you will, of everything that you gave Jim McIntyre access to.
He had access to our home. He had a spare key to our home as well as the alarm code while we lived there. He had all of our bank accounts, USAA and a couple others that we had tried to pick up to do that. He had, at this point, our mail. We had initially moved our mail to a post office because of the constant issues we had getting.
So here's the other thing: is that at some point, I would imagine there was definitely some issues going on with the mail fraud, right? Because that's like a whole thing. I just that just now is dawning on me. Just because he mentioned it.
Getting our mail, it would just sometimes for days we would not get any mail, and then we would get things that slipped through that said, well, you haven't paid this bill that we hadn't received. Shortly before we left, we moved our mail to a service down in Florida that would scan it and hold on to it for you, let you know what it was. So he had access to that. All of our social media, both of our social media, anything from Reddit to Twitter to Instagram to Facebook. He also had our Signal. So Signal is a encrypted messaging app. I know we've heard a little talk about it. You can mirror Signal from your phone to a computer, so that you could use either the phone or the computer. He had us mirror our Signal accounts to professional computers of his, so that he could monitor those conversations as well.
His mom.
I'll ask you to just slow down just a little bit, just to make sure the court reporter gets
Yeah.
everything.
Yes, sir.
So eventually you leave Hilton Head, correct?
Yes, in late May of 2020, Mindy had a large argument with her brother and then a smaller argument with her parents, and said that she didn't feel like she wanted to stay in the area anymore. And Jim asked us how we felt about Charleston, South Carolina.
So I have to just say that one of the things he didn't quite get to the level of Alex Murdaugh, because Heather makes a great point. Is there even a sketch of this alleged guy? Yeah, he didn't quite go so far as Alex Murdaugh to create an alleged perpetrator and then describe that person to a forensic sketch artist. He didn't quite go that far. I think he would have. Maybe he just wasn't presented with the opportunity. I mean, he totally would have, but it didn't quite work out for him that way. We never got a forensic sketch of Jim McIntyre, unfortunately.
When you say not wanting to stay in the area, her family was in that area?
Yes, her family was in the area.
Who lived in that area?
Her brother Frank the Fourth, a lot of Franks, Frank the Fourth, and then his wife Megan at the time. And they're, to my understanding, still married. I mean, at the time because they had a child later. And I believe that Mindy's parents and her youngest brother Matthew also lived in the area at the time. Her parents Betsy and Frank the Third, and then Matthew, who is I guess at this point in his early 20s, but back then was still in high school.
So in that first half of 2020 period, how would you describe the relationship that you had with Frank the Fourth and Megan?
I thought it was generally quite good, though when he and Mindy had their large argument, I didn't speak to them. It's kind of, if your wife is fighting with her brother, you don't talk to her brother. You let them deal with it.
Okay. So
Okay.
again, I'm sorry. Would you tell me again where did you move after May of 2020?
We moved very briefly to Charleston, South Carolina.
Why did you move to Charleston?
It was something that Jim had suggested. How we asked how we felt about it. Neither of us had ever been to Charleston, and we said we would try it.
Oh, that's a nice opportunity. Let's try Charleston out for an hour and a half until we have to move to the next place.
What kind of work, if any, was Mindy doing at this time?
Mindy was not doing any work at this time.
Why not?
She had left her job shortly before we got married. She and it was not a healthy office environment. She had briefly run an events company in Virginia, but that wasn't really work she enjoyed. It was just something that she did, I think, to keep busy. And she had launched a podcast, but after the first season of that, because of everything else that was happening, she did not do the work for the second season.
While you're moving 15 times in Hilton Head, who knows how many times after that, you mentioned strange things earlier. Were strange?
Doug, who knows how many times after that? Yes, accurate.
Do the work for the second season.
While you're moving 15 times in Hilton Head, who knows how many times after that, you mentioned strange things earlier. Were strange things continuing to happen to you?
No, I mean, we still did not have access to any of our bank accounts. We couldn't even.
Face again. Oh, poor Doug. Doug's face again.
Strange things continuing to happen to you?
No, I mean, we still did not have access to any of our bank accounts. We couldn't even log into our bank accounts. we tried on various occasions, and it would say, the password doesn't work. If we reset the password, we wouldn't even get the email. But other than that, like physically, we were not still having the damage to the houses that we were in, anything like that.
Okay. How long are you in Charleston?
We are in Charleston for only a week.
Why only a week?
A couple of things. Mindy had Mindy throughout this stretch had some health issues. She'd been very sick back in February, and then had something that we just didn't understand in June. Was at the hospital for a couple of days, but neither one of us really liked Charleston. I'm not a city guy, so it was a little too.
He's not a city guy.
Too developed, not enough privacy. So we said to Mr. McIntyre that it wasn't a place that we thought that we would see ourselves long term, and he said that he would find something else. And a day or two later, he came up with Beaufort, South Carolina.
Oh my God, you guys. It's always Mindy's fault. Yep.
We'll get to Beaufort in a moment. You referenced Mindy's health issues. What health issues was she having at this time?
She got very sick in February. Over the course of 2020, I did kind of extensive spreadsheets on when I thought she had different symptoms. She had, at the time, what appeared to be a very nasty cold, but later I questioned whether it might be COVID. And then in
spreadsheets, you guys, spreadsheets. What?
Over the course of 2020, I did kind of extensive spreadsheets on when I thought she had different symptoms. She had, at the time, what appeared to be a very nasty cold, but later I questioned whether it might be COVID. And then in June, the week we spent in Charleston, she had some sort of I don't know what you would call it, a spell. She started shaking uncontrollably. Her eyes.
A spell? What are you from? The 14th century?
Were
Northwest, 100%. I think poison. I think I said that on day one. Actually, when I knew very little about 100%. My money is on poison caused this. 100%. It fits all of the hallmarks, doesn't it? Though, and also love that little oregano, little red wine vinegar. Love it. Love it.
Very, very large. Her pupils dilated almost to the edge of her eyes. I was absolutely terrified.
So,
that certainly sounds like fucking poison, doesn't it?
What kind of treatment, if any, did she get for that?
I was told that she went to the. There's a large hospital in Charleston. I forget what it's called. I think it's affiliated with a college or university, but I was told she was brought there, that they tested.
Oh, we know all about that. Go Gamecocks, right? You believe it's affiliated. Don't act like you don't know about the Gamecocks, sir. Shout out to the Gamecocks.
Did her extensively and couldn't find anything over the period of 2 or 3 days, and she was better and returned.
This is all very passive voice. You didn't take her to the hospital?
I did not. Mr. McIntyre took her to the hospital. This was a concern of ours throughout, that when she was seeking medical treatment, because of our insurance, because of our last names, that this was going to pop up somewhere that could potentially be used to identify us.
You say because of your insurance. What insurance did you have in 2020?
There is just so much here, guys, to break down. We're gonna have to save this for part 4. There's just so much here, and I'm like, oh my God, I feel like I've paused so much, but like there's just so much here. Here's the thing. Here's what's going on here, just so you guys know. He's getting where they're getting at here in his testimony. The point they are arriving at in his testimony is the point where Mindy dies. Okay. And so, as disastrous as it's been so far, we haven't seen anything yet. So there's just so much here. And they lived in every single town in South Carolina, and for him to try to pretend like he doesn't know about the University of South Carolina, you've got to be kidding me. I wouldn't know, but for the Murdoch trial, that's like physically impossible, because they are all about repping USC. Go Gamecocks. Not plausible. Not plausible at all. We're going to save this for next time. So here's what we will be doing next time, guys. Next time we will finish with his testimony, and then we will get to close. We will hear closing arguments, and again, they're pretty brief, but the state slays, in my opinion, at closing. She kills it. The prosecutor kills it. So we'll finish his testimony. We'll get to closing arguments. We all know what the verdict is, but we can watch that if y'all want. But also, like I said, there's the interviews after the fact with Doug Weinstein, his defense attorney, and also at least one juror that spoke out. I'll look to see if there's more by the time we get to part 4, which hopefully we can do this tomorrow. And if anybody wants to watch victim impact statements, we can watch those as well. I know there were some really noteworthy. I saw some of it, so let me know if you guys want to watch those as well. But yeah, at the very least, we'll finish his testimony, like I said, closing arguments, and the post-trial interviews. And so we should conclude this whole, what should we call it? Like, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, trial version, if you will, because I'm so used to doing gavel to gavel. We should conclude it in 4 parts in the midst of all the other things that we're covering. But the other thing is this is a cliffhanger, and here's why. We haven't gotten to the part in his testimony yet about his short story. And again, his short story is called, where did I put it? I don't want to get it wrong. I think my mother-in-law is trying to kill me, and what is it? And then I found out why, or something like that. So I've got the whole thing pulled up with the movie rights with Sony, and I've got the actual short story. But I've been waiting to do that until we get to this in his testimony, because it's insane. So it'll be a cliffhanger, guys, but we will get to that next time. As soon as he brings up that short story, we're going to go. And just when you think you've seen it all, even with this trial, you haven't. That's the thing. Never. It knows no limits. The limit does not exist. Saga, yup. This here freak show. Yes, well said. Yup. What's his name? Whose name? The defendant? Twiz? Is that who you're talking about? I mean, I guess I don't have his first name in the title, but anyway, it's in the thumbnail, I think. I'll just type it in for Twiz. Yeah, this case is the most insane thing ever. There we go. Now, remember, he did have his other aliases, most notably Nicholas, Killian, James, Spark. Or was it Nicholas, James, Killian, Spark? I can't remember the order of the 2 middle names, which who gives themselves 2 fake middle names? But anyways, there was also Nicholas, what was it, Moorfox or whatever? Moorfox. Anywho's. George, right? I know, George will stick, right? Classic George will stick right there. So yeah, it's insane. And then once we finish up with part 4, we will jump back in. What I'm gonna do, because with Idaho, we've been doing the Moscow. I'm actually gonna segue into the Idaho State Police, because those came out over the weekend or somewhere thereabouts, and those have all the tea. So we're going to jaunt on over to those, and then we'll come back to Moscow at some point. But I mean, as you guys know, there's a shit ton of docs. But anyways, that is in the near future, as well as Donna Adelson's trial. So yeah, there you go. Kevin, good one. But yeah, that'll be it for this one, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Yeah, definitely make sure you join us for part 4, where we get to the rest of his testimony and the insanity of the short story that he wrote, and the conclusion of all this madness, and what Doug Weinstein had to say about it all, and what jurors had to say about it all. And thank you so much, Northwest, for being here, and also for being our resident expert on all the facts of the case. And I will also ask about that question as far as extradition and pending warrants as well. So happy that all of you guys could be here. Thanks so much, guys. Love y'all. And we'll see each other next time. But for now, squirrel out.